Express Employment Professionals. We make it our business to put you to work.
It's truck season. Are you in the market for a powerful, reliable truck? Check out the 2023 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition at Steve Ponte Chevrolet. With Silverado's robust engine and four-wheel drive capabilities, this truck is built to conquer anything. Right now, take advantage of some incredible incentives. You'll find new roads and save when you get 0% financing for 36 months. Or take advantage of up to $5,250 in total value savings. Is leasing more your style? Get a 3-year, 30,000-mile lease for $487 a month. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. Stock number 23098. Purchase must have 2009 or newer Chevrolet in household. $3,750 total rebate plus $1,500 engine credit. Lease offer must have current lease in household. Mileage penalty of 25 cents per mile over 30,000 miles. Offers must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery plus $1,000 in first payment due on lease. Must take delivery by 5/1/2023.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools, ready to learn, destined to lead.
Hi, this is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We are expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville. They are another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy and fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here is William Schaub from the newest Gates Cole agency, North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville.
Working with us as an independent agent with this many companies, we will often call our clients and say, we're going to reduce your premium if you like. We have the companies that do well in New York and specifically this area. The coverages that we provide are commercial and personal insurance. That's the home, the auto, ATV, motorcycle. There's nothing more fun than taking care of a customer and being able to tell them that we're able to save them some money.
Proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to
to getting started. On the motivational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. I'm still celebrating from the Mayor's Gala on Saturday night. I'm just been dancing all weekend long. Oh, my.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I didn't go. But I guess it happened, right? It's the first time since COVID the mayor of Utica's gala occurred. You know he was going to have it because he's getting done. He can't have it next year.
Well, that's true.
You might as well have it now.
Well, again, you assume he's not running again, so.
I have assumed that. I do believe I have assumed that. We have a lot to do here today. In fact, we'll speak with Craig Flint, meteorologist from WTR and Eyewitness News and Fox 33. I believe you said that we're more seasonable. I think we're below seasonable temperatures this week. We're in the 50s.
Really?
Yeah. We should be a little warmer than this. And then next week, we get back up into the 60s. I don't know. Would you take a couple of really nice days in the 80s in April and then live with 2 weeks of cooler temperatures?
Yeah. What is the average this time of year?
I think we'd be in the 60s, the low 60s. Probably.
In April?
In April, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Although, just not forget, there are plenty of years where we still have snow on the ground in April. And even, creeping into May. It's those April showers that bring the May flowers around here.
So this says for the month of April, the average high, or the high, maybe that.
Well, remember, we're not in the month of April. We're in the second half of April, which is much different.
Well, it says 57.34, and then the average for May was 71.45.
So usually the second half of May we've made it into the 60s, the low 60s. But let's see what the meteorologist has to say. Maybe he disagrees. Tanya Powers coming up. There's a copyright case out there that I want to check out. I think it's interesting. It's in music, and it's Marvin Gaye, the late, versus Ed Sheeran. And we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. Also, for the first time, he is the candidate for mayor in the upcoming Republican primary, Jeff Lanigan in Rome. It's the first time he's been in studio. First time I believe we will have met him, and he'll be in studio this morning.
Also, we'll talk with Utica Council President, mayoral candidate Mike Galimi. So Friday afternoon, they did have a vote on.
I'm really surprised at what happened here.
And it was a 5-4 vote, no vote. It was
on complete streets.
So my understanding is that Mayor Palmieri might have the option to veto their bill, override them. We'll talk with Mike Galimi about what the next steps are. What happens? So now that the trial periods are over, we've had 2 trial periods. Where does it go from here? Do they start repainting the streets 4 lanes today?
I mean,
no.
that's they're going to have to grind it back down again, aren't they?
It's possible. I will say this. I don't know exactly what the epoxy they used or whatever, but I'm telling you, it's very difficult to see on most blocks the lines that they were redrawn.
You're right.
They've already faded
You're right.
off.
You're right.
So I don't know. Do they have to grind those? They shouldn't, right?
I don't. I guess probably not. I guess you just reline them. Is there an opportunity for complete streets somewhere in the city? I do think there probably is, and maybe it is Genesee Street. But I kind of feel like maybe we should be waiting. I think the people who say we should at least wait to see what the traffic pattern looks like once the hospital owns and everything begins to happen downtown, and then go into that. Although I'll tell you, they do it in places that are much bigger cities. They do it all over. And, we worry about, well, what if somebody opens their door into traffic, into a bicycle or something? Places, larger cities, not in just the United States, but around the world do it. And, there are accidents just like anything else. But, there'd be accidents if it was just 4 regular lanes as well.
Yes.
So they say. I'm not saying we should be doing complete streets. I'm just saying they do it elsewhere, and it seems to work, or does it? A cab driver in New York City will tell you that whole thing just makes it so difficult to drive in New York City today.
With the bikes on the road?
Well, you have bikes, you have you have areas of Broadway that used to be 4 lanes and now have been completely sectioned off and have been turned into a park where you might sit and have lunch at a cafe or something. You're sitting out there, you're eating outdoors, that sort of thing. Parts of Broadway where you have to get off at such and such a street now because you can't get through here anymore. So there have been a lot of changes in bigger cities as well. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Is the Bed Bath and Beyond still open in New Hartford?
No, they're gone.
Yeah. They've named themselves now. A new name is called Bed Bath and Beyond Financial Solvency is the new name of the company. They have filed for bankruptcy. No surprise here, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess whatever happened to the brick and mortar stores? I almost feel like we were on the road to people were predicting that, boy, online shopping is sooner or later it's going to kind of creep in and take over. But COVID just ruined everything.
Yeah.
It put the gas, it put the pedal to the metal. And all of a sudden, everybody got comfortable with ordering online.
Yeah, really, it really did. And it's so funny, too, because there were a couple of comedians who've mocked this, and I think a couple of political commentators as well. They talk about the younger generation, and they kind of blame the environmental issues on previous generations. And these folks can't order a pair of pants unless it's shipped directly to their home, hand-delivered by a gas-powered truck.
Right,
And
right.
guess what? When it doesn't fit, they make the truck come back and get it, reship it, go get me another pair of pants, bring it to my house.
I don't know. Is it if you're not buying pants and you're buying a coffee maker, if you're not buying pants and you're buying a humidifier, or you're buying sheets for your bed and you know there's so many thread count or something, isn't it easier just to do it online? Bing, you do it at night, it's here the next day.
Oh, there's no question. It's
Yeah.
easier. First of all, what happens instead of people going to the store to purchase their items now, they get everything dropped off at the house.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing is, and maybe this was part of a documentary that I saw, but like there is a whole side industry of returned items. And what happens to those items?
Good point.
In some cases, they get auctioned off, but basically, if you've shipped, you mentioned the bed sheets, right? You get bed sheets shipped to your house. A lot of times, they don't make it back to the original store that sold them. They just go to a warehouse, and there's a write-off somewhere along the way.
You're right. Some cases, if you want to return something, they'll tell you to keep it, and they'll send you the new item.
Right.
Yeah. Over the weekend, my neighbor put up new postage signs on our. I thought it was kind of ironic, though, and could I have said something? Yes. Did I say something? No. But I thought it was kind of ironic that whoever she had, I know who it is, but without getting into it, putting up pounding the postage signs into the ground, was doing so on my property. Isn't that ironic?
It's very ironic.
Yeah. But what am I going to say?
So they put new ones in.
Hey, you're going to have to put that sign up, but you can't stand on my property. I'm not going to add to the mix. I think she feels that because I've tried to help over the years and do some mowing that I'm trying to steal her property.
Is that a real thing?
It isn't. It was during PAW and Half Pint, but I don't think it is today. In fact, let's be honest. If you have property, let's think about this for a second. If you have property and you pay taxes on that property, and it just so happens that your neighbor's mowing near your property, do you think they can take the property that is yours that you pay taxes on? The answer to that is no.
Well, the only reason I ask is because I'm aware of a situation where
if it's an abandoned property, somebody owns it and they're from, Carolinas and they're paying no attention. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. But it is not possible in this case.
Yeah.
And nor I don't even get it. And I'm a good neighbor. That's all I'm saying. I'm a very good neighbor.
Yeah, sure.
And, loud sometimes. Every once in a while, I apologize for that. But otherwise, I'm a very good neighbor. What are you going to do?
So when
Saddens
you say
my heart. Saddens my heart. My heart is saddened. Davey, look at my heart.
Look how sad his heart looks.
Saddened.
Send the Robins over to her.
Yeah. Well, they're dead now.
Now, when you say they put up new postage signs, I didn't know they have a new design for 2024.
Apparently, the wind had blown some down, and they had withered away after the last 3 years or something. And I'm like, well, maybe, maybe this is the end of it.
Nope. I thought it was like a calendar. Like every year you go, I got the 2024.
2024.
The 2025's coming soon.
This one's really nice looking. These are heavy duty. These won't blow away.
Okay.
These will not blow away. I don't know. I can't play much of this. Will it even play? I don't know. I guess maybe it's not going to play for me. Oh, yeah, it is. I can't play much of this because every time we play any copyrighted music, YouTube dings the show.
I feel the earth move under my...
Oop, they can't play any more than that or we get dinged. Did you feel the earthquake over the weekend?
Another one?
This one was up in, centered right around Adams, New York. And thank you, Davey, in Adams. And let's bring in the meteorologist to speak about it. Meteorologist from Eyewitness News and Fox 33 TV, Craig Flint. Craig, good morning. Did you feel the earthquake?
I did not feel the earthquake, but another one just south of Watertown. If my memory recalls, they had one up there just a few short weeks ago.
That's what I thought. Yeah. It was just around there, I think it was less than that, wasn't it? Last week,
I believe we had something maybe closer to maybe a week and a half ago. Yeah, I do enjoy the. Did you feel the earthquake? I think I did. I think I you know what? I think I felt it. I feel like that starts playing with your mind a little bit.
Yes,
because it was was not one of the. It was not. If you've ever been in an earthquake where you really can feel it, have you ever been in one, Craig?
I've never been in one, but I do remember. Well, I don't know. I mean, technically, I guess I have because it was probably back. I want to say like the 2010, 20. When was the one in Washington D.C.?
Yeah,
that shook the Washington Monument, and that one. I felt that one. I remember that one. That was a fairly big one.
We had one that was significant that we felt here. In fact, it actually left in our home. We were living in Ilion at the time. This maybe around 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever. But it actually cracked there was a crack in our wall when it was all said and done in the plaster of the wall. It was one that you could feel it. Stuff wasn't falling off the walls or anything like that for the most part, but it felt to me like I was in a bed. And someone was at the foot of the bed, and they were pushing me back and forth. I thought it kind of felt like you were rumbling like a truck would go by. Instead, it felt like we were going back and forth. Is that what it's supposed to feel like, Craig?
I guess it depends. I hear all kinds of stories. Whether or not you feel it. Like you said, sometimes it's a little bit of a mind game because it actually depends on the surface that you're on. If you're on bedrock versus like clay, or say you're driving a car, you'll feel different things depending on what you're doing at the specific time of the earthquake. So I remember the one that we had a few years back. That was the one that. They closed the Washington Monument. It was a fairly big one for the East Coast, and it was, it was felt all the way up through the Northeast corridor. And I remember feeling that one. I was sitting in the newsroom at the time, and all of a sudden everything started shaking, and the lights above my head were shaking. So it's one of those things where you don't know what the hell is going on at first. You're like, "What? Am I going crazy? Like, did this just, really move?"
Especially being in the Northeast, we're not used to. But I will say, the one that hit when we were in Ilion was the only one I've ever been in where you really could feel it, and it went on for about 7 or 8 seconds, where we were moving, and it was the only time I've ever really felt one. I mean, you felt it before. It's like, was that Did you just feel that? Was that?
Yeah.
This was different
That's exactly
than that.
what happens.
This-
You're exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're like, did I really just? Yeah. You think
Yeah,
you think you're kind of going crazy at
Yeah.
first.
But this one was. I don't feel like we felt this one the same way. But
Right.
my son said he could kind of feel it. He thought he felt something. I did not feel it though.
Yeah, I can't say that I felt this one this weekend either.
So interesting though that there are two in only a week or so. Maybe that's not so interesting though.
Well, I mean, it's everything's interesting when it comes to the Earth. Is the Earth trying to tell you something, But that's more of a seismology type ordeal.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, that there are small earthquakes in New York State that are not registered pretty much every day. They're just so small we don't feel them.
Yeah.
And don't quote me on this, but I kind of look at it as kind of the Earth. I don't know if I want to say releasing energy and kind of preventing. In other words, we kind of need these small earthquakes to happen to prevent a really big one from happening.
Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it really does. It's kind of like your dad after Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, I'm glad he's doing it this way because otherwise it'd be really bad.
If he doesn't have a beer, there's going to be a major argument at the end of the night.
That's right.
Right. You got it. You got it.
And then we're back and forth here on the. I feel like we're a little below seasonable temperatures for the second half of April, really the last part of April, or are we normal? What do you think right now?
No, you're actually right. We're going to be a little bit below normal here, especially as we go through the first half of this week. When we talk about a normal high temperature, now it's we're supposed to be in the upper 50s to near 60. That's where we're supposed to be now.
Yeah.
And I think as we get through today, Tuesday and Wednesday. We're kind of going to struggle and hang out like in the low 50s, right around 50-ish. So a little bit below normal the first half of the week. So
we did get spoiled, though. I mean, what are we at? Are we at 3 or 4 80-degree days in April? That's really just unheard of.
There's been at least 2 to 3 that I know of. I'd have to look it up for sure. But yeah, we got into the 80s there early to mid-month, and I was saying on TV, I was like, it's nice, it's a little bit early for this type of weather, and that's one of the cool things, and in my experience in meteorology is you got to balance this stuff out, and weather always averages out, averages out one way or another, so. Usually if you're pretty warm or warmer than average for a period of time, say for like the first couple weeks of the month, you can pretty much count on the second half of the month being near or below.
Even out just a little bit. Although even on Friday, you had another day that was at least close to 80 degrees. I mean, it was another beautiful day. People eating outside and hanging out and tailgating before the Comets game Friday night. It was definitely something. Now, once we begin to warm up a little bit, what do you see for the rest of this week and the beginning of May?
Yeah, so I think it's actually going to stay probably, I hope you enjoyed the 80-degree warmth we had on Friday because it looks like that's going to be it for a while.
Yeah.
I think we're going to kind of even this out as we go through the rest of this month. So temperatures are probably going to average near to slightly below normal, and then maybe even into the early part of May, so like the first week of May, probably a little cooler than what it should be. And the weather pattern in terms of daily sensible weather this week, it's kind of, you look outside and you see, you get what you see. It's a little bit of an upset stomach, It's like we need to give the atmosphere some Tums or something. I don't think it's going to rain every hour all the time, every day, but there's definitely the opportunity for scattered passing light rain showers. And, if it's marginally cold enough over the higher elevations, wouldn't be surprised if there were some wet snow flurries or some graupel or soft hail or something like that. But certainly not going to be something that's falling from the sky every hour all the time. Going to be one of those situations where you'll get a break of sun, and then 10, 15 minutes later you'll get a scattered shower.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we're gonna play here, especially through the first half of the week. It does get a little bit nicer as we get into the second half of the week and into the weekend.
I do have to say that a week and a half ago, and then this past Friday, and even Saturday, even part of Saturday, I looked really smart when the people at Tucker's Pool said, "Hey, we're going through your neighborhood. You want us to open your pool?" And I said, yes. Looked pretty smart for a while. But now with temperatures in the 50s, it doesn't look so smart. But the good news is with cooler temperatures, your water stays pretty stable. It's the heat that you got to keep pumping stuff into your pool. So I'll just kind of let it run until it warms up again. I think we're okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, you got the right idea, Keeler. You're looking at the bright side.
That's right. Try to look at the bright side. All right. And for today, forecast for today.
So today it'll be partly to mostly cloudy, a little chilly, kind of damp at times. It'll probably turn a little breezy this afternoon. Again, scattered rain showers possible through the course of the day. Low 50s, and I think as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, you could almost copy and paste the forecast. Pretty much the same today, same as what we're going to see today. Like I said, by late in the week, like temperatures will get a little closer to normal, a little bit brighter, and to at least start the weekend, it appears the weather will be a little bit nicer. Finish, I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Still a couple days away.
Meteorologist Craig Flint, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Craig Flint from Fox 33 and WUTR. Other news from over the weekend, a lot of sports action, and, of course, the Comets with a big win on Friday, clinching that playoff series, meaning that they're off to a real tough challenge. And a team that they've struggled with all year long, Toronto, is really good. Now, there's a chance, though, that New Jersey ends up losing to the Rangers. If that was the case, if that does happen, that'll mean maybe a few players will end up coming down. And wasn't there a Comets player that was in the net the other night for New Jersey?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So now, Davey, we play on the road. We're on the road for what? Two games in Toronto. It'll be Wednesday and Saturday. And then we'll come home and hopefully keep things alive with games back here in Utica. But that's going to be a tough challenge against Toronto. They're pretty good. What else do I have? Is it Tanya Powers? So we mentioned there's a little battle over copyright. I love these. Sometimes I agree with them. Sometimes I completely disagree. This one is Marvin Gaye and Ed Sheeran. Of course, the estate of Marvin Gaye, or whoever owns the copyrights to Marvin Gaye's music. Tanya J. Powers on the line right now. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What do we know about this one?
Well, the lawsuit is actually not being brought by Gaye's estate. It is being brought by Ed Townsend, who co-wrote Let's Get It On with Marvin Gaye. And the heirs, he passed away in 2003. His daughter is the one suing Ed Sheeran over the song Thinking Out Loud. That was his 2014 hit, if you can believe it's been almost 10 years since that song came out.
Yeah.
And says that the song has striking similarities to Let's Get It On. And the lawsuit was actually filed in 2017. It has finally gotten to the trial point.
Wow.
It is being done here in Manhattan. The jury selection and opening statements are expected today. The jurors are, what they're looking at is they're only supposed to consider the raw elements of the song, the melody, the harmony, the rhythm, not the lyrics or any of that, but the things that make up the composition of Let's Get It On the sheet music that was filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. That's what they're supposed to look at.
Let me play just a little piece of this to give people an idea of what we're dealing with. Yeah.
Baby, my heart could still fall less hard at 23.
I mean, I kind of feel like, and listening to this right from the beginning, I got a little bit of a "Let's Get It On" type. In fact, there's a local band, I believe, that does this song and then mixes right into "Let's Get It On."
Yeah, they're not the only ones. Ed Sheeran has actually done that in a live performance himself.
Okay.
And not just once, apparently. Matter of fact, the attorneys for Townsend, for the family, wanted to play part of a YouTube video of one of those kind of performances where he goes into "Let's Get It On" during the live performance of Thinking Out Loud. The judge denied the motion to include it, but said that he would reconsider it after seeing the other evidence that gets presented. So it's possible that they may be able to, for the jury to see that, video where he himself is literally going from one song into the next.
Right.
It's going to be an interesting, thing to do. Matter of fact, if you Google "Thinking Out Loud, Let's Get It On" mashup, there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
Where people have done exactly that. They've kind of mixed the two songs together. Where you can, when you do that, it's real similar. I mean, again, they've got to go by the raw elements, the melody, the harmony, and the rhythm of it as to what has been documented with the Patent and Trademark Office. That's what they have to look at.
And I'll play a little of that coming up in a second, but I do have to say that it's important to note that you can't go by the chord progressions because those there are, if you can look up online, you can see somebody who's done something with, this chord progression is actually used in 50 songs, and here are 50 examples of that. So it's very particular, and you're literally it's about stealing the actual notes and the melody of the song and the singing and all of that put together. When you compare sheet music, that is what they're really looking at right now.
Yeah, they're looking at kind of the bones of the song, not just the, okay, listen to it and see, tell us what you think. The attorneys for Ed Sheeran have said that the structural symmetry only points to the foundations of popular music. They're basically, well, he used the same notes available to everybody. So who knows, what the jury's going to decide. But yeah, if you listen to the two, especially if they're in a mashup edit, ooh, it's you're like, yep, I can see where you go from one to the end into the other one.
All right, interesting stuff, Tanya. Thank you so much as always. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. Do you want to hear a little piece of this?
Yeah, I do. We're going to get dinged for this, aren't we?
Probably. This isn't too long, though, but it's worth listening to. And it is, as she says, it's very hard because there's a very technical, there's a technical issue here. And it is not just something as simple as, boy, that sounds the same. But you remember George Harrison and My Sweet Lord and the Shirelles. It was a big copyright case back in the 70s. Listen to this. This is Ed Sheeran versus Marvin Gaye.
And I can't sweep you off of your feet. Will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? Darling, I've been really trying, baby.
This is a terrible mashup.
Yes,
Pick
awful.
the worst one I could find.
Baby, my heart could still fall less hard at 23.
I don't know. I mean, based on this one,
And I'm thinking about how.
That was a better demonstration of it.
That was a little bit better. But I mean, what do you hear when you hear?
Well, so this is why it seems confusing to me, because we've had cases before on the show that we've discussed that when you played the two songs, to me they didn't sound anything alike. There maybe was some similarity, but it really wasn't that close. With this one, if the guy who sings the song can seamlessly transition from one song to the other and the lyrics without even changing the beat at all, and it's smooth, and somebody who doesn't have a musical ear like me can see how seamless it is.
Yeah, but
it would seem that there's something there. Now you say it's not about how it sounds.
The point here is you can take you can think of, here's an example. Here's a good one here. This is 4 chords put together that are used in this example. I think I have a good example here. In 23 songs. Just listen to this.
Made a video showing a lot of pop songs use the same 4 chords, but there's more. Here's a mashup of 23 more songs with those 4 chords.
Is this like the Twinkle Twinkle?
This time I fear there's no one to save me.
Listen to these chords.
Take on me time to say I'm trying to forget you.
See, with the chord progression, there are only so many chords. You put them together. Some of these songs I don't know, but
I don't know any of them.
Same chord progression.
But that's just one segment of the song, right?
No, that's the whole song. I mean, a chord
The whole
progression.
song is 4. It's just 4 chords.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. You may have a bridge where it changes a little bit, or it could change key, but for the most part, your song is based on a chord progression. Yeah, so, I mean, it becomes very difficult for the average person to listen to that and say, oh, my God, it sounds just like it. But you got to go much deeper than the chord progression.
Okay, so fair enough. And again, I'm not arguing with with you. I'm just trying to understand it. So if there are songs where the average person, the amateur ear, if you will, doesn't catch that, but they're identical, on the ones where they sound exactly identical from beginning to end, how is that not the same?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the words. A lot of it has to do with the melody of the melody of the song and the singing. What was the Shirelles song? Do you remember what that was back in with My Sweet Lord? So My Sweet Lord. You can find a mix up of that one, mash up of that one as well. Take it for what it is. I don't know where it's going, but we will. I'm sure we will all know. My guess is that it turns out that it is not stealing. It is not a stolen copyright.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it is, but I guess we'll find out as time goes on. Other stuff happening in the news. Sports Illustrated, 2 stories out right now. David Cohn did a thing the other night about rosin, and last night actually during Sunday Night Baseball. And showed an experiment. Did anybody see that? Did you see it,
This
Davey?
is the Trevor Bauer thing.
I think it
where
is.
he just puts the ball in his hand and it's stuck there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Defines gravity.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, David Cohn did that last night. Thought that was interesting. And the Aaron Rodgers deal, is this thing ever going to get done? If it's going to get done, it'll be within the next week.
This is the Austin Kutcher return of Pranked.
I think
it's a big joke on Jets fans. That's what it is.
Yeah.
This has gone on forever. And it's funny because I'll never forget the day we had a Jets fan in here. He might have been one of your comedians for Fat Cats. And he goes, I came in and I jokingly said, and that was what the headline read, the Jets have finalized the deal to bring in another former Green Bay Packers quarterback. And it was the backup guy they got. It wasn't even Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I feel like this has just gone on, and there is no end to it. What do you think, Davey?
They got to resolve it this week because Thursday begins the NFL draft.
Right. That's my point. If it's going to happen, it's most likely going to happen in the next
Jeff
week.
Said earlier in his sports report, Mark Murphy wants the Jets to give them a first-round pick, and they only got 2 second rounds they're offering.
Okay, all right. This happened at a pep rally last month at Desert Hills Middle School in Kennewick, Washington. Students and teachers competed against each other in a contest where they licked marshmallow cream off a plexiglass window, like fluff.
Okay.
I don't understand this contest.
I don't either.
The strips of cream were placed at the exact same location on either side of the window. So it looked like the teachers and the students were actually licking each other. Why? I guess I would ask. Why?
Right. Okay.
Here are some students who taped the whole thing reacting with what they claim is utter disgust. Here we go. Meanwhile, in America, we are arguing over drag queens. Do you think this is appropriate? I would say this is probably not a good look. And the answer, I guess the question would be, why?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Why? It was at a pep rally. You remember at pep rallies when the football players would come out with balloons inflated and they'd come out as cheerleaders? Remember that?
No.
Yeah. Davey, you remember that?
Well, we had pep rallies at my high school, Golden Purple Weekend, when they used to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, the football players would come out dressed
They'd come
as
out
cheerleaders?
dressed up as cheerleaders.
Well, back in the early days, not when I was there, they did.
Okay.
The football players dressed up as cheerleaders.
Davey, do you not remember this happening, or are you just saying you do?
No, one time they did.
Okay, all right.
The football players dressed up as cheerleaders.
It was a pep rally thing. Today, that wouldn't be acceptable. That would be drag queeningness, I guess.
Yeah,
the thought would be that those football players were trying to convince the younger kids to become women. I believe. And Bob Dylan's harmonica from his 1963 New York City Town Hall concert hit the auction block over the weekend. You know what it sold for, that harmonica?
Too much money.
$45,000.
I was right.
The performance was the first big concert of his career, helped launch his illustrious career. He even autographed the harmonica box and wrote the song title. He performed with it. It was this song. Here we go.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
There's the harmonica. Somebody paid $45,000 for that harmonica. I have time for this. In Kansas City, Missouri, a small puppy was rescued out of a car engine after traveling inside the engine under the trunk for 30 miles. Here's the vehicle owner, Ashley Newman, and her coworker, Dennis Miller, no relation, talking about the rescue of the pup. Here we go.
Someone thinks there's a dog in your car, and I'm like, in my car? So I come outside, I rush in to unlock the car, pop the hood, and we look for a few seconds, and sure enough, there are just two little eyeballs just looking up at us.
The dog was in a really tight spot, and we were able to just take the under trim off and get her free.
I cried instantly, and the little puppy is back home with mom.
The little puppy is back home with mom. So there you go. Coming up next hour, he's running for Rome mayor on the Republican side against Jackie Izzo. Jeff Lanigan will be on the radio next hour. Also, Habaika's free money question of the day. News is straight ahead here on Monday morning. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
Most Americans don't want him to. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but President Biden is apparently ready to announce he's running for re-election.
Reports citing unnamed sources at the White House say the president may make it official Tuesday, or likely this week, with a possible video announcement of his plan to run for president again in 2024. He's been hinting at it for weeks now.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The AP reports the president will name one of his advisors, Julie Chavez Rodriguez, as his campaign manager. But in an NBC News poll, 70% of those surveyed do not want President Biden to run again, with many citing his age. 60% don't want former President Trump to run again.
What America does not want is another repeat of 2020, where we have Joe Biden and Donald Trump running against each other.
Asa Hutchinson on Fox News Sunday. He's running for president as a Republican, but gets just 3% in that NBC poll. Trump leads the GOP race with 46%. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's not announced to run yet, is a distant second. The exodus continues out of Sudan as other countries join the U.S., evacuating diplomats and citizens from deadly fighting between rival generals battling for control of Sudan.
On Saturday night, U.S. Navy SEALs and members of Army Special Forces conducted a helicopter rescue in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. U.S. troops staying for the time being in nearby Djibouti. One American civilian is among the 420-plus people to have lost their lives.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Another store is going away. Bed Bath & Beyond filed for bankruptcy and will shut down and close after selling off assets. The store did announce its bankruptcy filing. It says it will continue to operate those locations while it winds down operations. Len Goodman has died. He was the head judge on Dancing with the Stars on TV for 15 years until he retired last fall. No cause was given. Goodman was 78. America's listening to Fox News.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft, because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898, and my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 37 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service, celebrating 70 years in business, 3 generations and counting. Visit them at clintontractor.net. Well, still no state budget. More than 3 weeks late now. A budget extender that was approved last week is scheduled to expire later today, which means the legislature will need to pass another one so state government can keep running. One thing that has been reportedly dropped from the final budget negotiations is Governor Hochul's affordable housing proposal. The initial deadline to pass this year's budget was April 1st. Congressman Brandon Williams announcing a plan to meet directly with constituents in Onondaga County. The 22nd District Representative will hold town hall meetings May 2nd in Camillus, May 30th in Fayetteville, and June 1st in Clay. The Republican lawmaker is serving his first term on Capitol Hill after he was elected this past November. The 22nd District covers all of Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties and a small portion of Oswego County. Utica police making an arrest following a public safety alert they issued last week. This was a follow-up to several overdose cases involving the use of synthetic marijuana. UPD officials say they were investigating the overdose incidents and believed the victims had consumed synthetic pot laced with benzodiazepine. After searches of 2 area smoke shops, investigators say they did find synthetic marijuana laced with alprazolam, a benzodiazepine often prescribed for anxiety treatment and panic disorders. 2 people have been arrested, facing charges. Robert Hill and Bandar Altieri, both 36 years old from Utica. Police also seized several packages of that synthetic marijuana from the smoke shops, along with untaxed cigarettes and cash. More information on that story at WIBX950.com. Central New York drivers noticing an increase in gas prices, and it has steadily increased over the last couple of weeks. The average price for a gallon of regular fuel in the Utica-Rome market now $3.68 a gallon. That's up 9 cents over the past week and 22 cents over the past month. Statewide in New York, the average is $3.67 a gallon. Our neighbors in Syracuse paying just a penny less at $3.66. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast, a little bit of a cool down to start the week here, but temps will warm up a bit as we head toward the end of the week. We do have a slight chance of afternoon rain showers today. Otherwise, partly sunny, a high of 53. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 34. Chance of rain showers for your Tuesday, mainly in the afternoon. Could squeeze in some sunshine as well, a high in the low to mid-50s. Wednesday, again, chance of showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, a high of 51. Sunshine for Thursday, 57. Partly sunny Friday, and 63. Right now, mostly cloudy and 37. WIBX News Time is 7:06. In sports, the Comets move on. A dramatic finish on Friday night. They scored with just 2 seconds left. That was the game winner, huh?
I guess so. That's what I'm hearing. I was at the game, but wasn't at that part of the game.
Gotcha. Exciting finish there for the Comets. They now advance to face off against the Toronto Marlies, the top seed in their division. They'll play at Toronto this Thursday and Saturday. Their next home games will be next Wednesday, May 3rd. If necessary, they would host Game 4 of the series on Friday night, May 5th. NHL playoffs, the Hurricanes cruise to Game 4. Game 4 win over the Islanders, and they now lead the Isles 3-1 in the best-of-7 series. Meanwhile, the Rangers host the Devils tonight in Game 4. The Blue Shirts lead that series 2-1, but the Devils look to pull even and even the series at 2 games apiece. The Knicks taking a commanding lead in their best-of-7 series with the Cavaliers. They lead 3-1 after a 102-93 victory in Game 4 at MSG. Jalen Brunson had 29 points. One of the Knicks' top players still dealing with injury. Head coach Tom Thibodeau said after the Game 4 win that Julius Randle is still playing through a left ankle injury that he suffered at the end of the regular season. Randle did not play during the fourth quarter of the Knicks' win on Sunday. The 28-year-old sprained his ankle during a win over the Heat back on March 29th. The NBA investigating Hawks guard Dejounte Murray. According to ESPN, he appeared to make contact with the referee as he was walking off the court at the end of Atlanta's loss to the Celtics. He then turned back and pointed and yelled at someone before exiting the court. The Hawks did not make Murray available for interviews after the game. Murray was fined $20,000, and the league is still investigating. The Packers and Jets resuming the Aaron Rodgers trade discussions. Ian Rappaport with NFL Media says the two sides have recently re-engaged, but a deal is still not imminent. Many believe this Friday was always the deadline, as the Jets have 2 consecutive second-round picks in the draft. One is expected to be used in the deal for Rodgers, but Green Bay has been trying to get a first-round pick for Rodgers instead. What did I forget here, Smitty? The NASCAR this weekend. Kyle Busch wins at Talladega in overtime. The Mets lost last night 5-4 on Sunday Night Baseball to the San Francisco Giants. And what did the Yankees do yesterday?
They lost. That's all I'm going to say. They lost.
Oh, okay. Well, they lost.
Mets were like 7-3 or 7-4, something like that, on this road trip. Not a bad.
No, they did have a good road trip.
Not a bad road trip to get West Coast road trip to get through.
Let's see. The Athletics, they won all 4 games of that series. They took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers and 2 out of 3 from the Giants. Yeah, so, boy, I'm counting only just 2 losses. Is that right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. They split the series with the Giants, so they went 7-3.
Not bad. All right.
8-3.
We were talking about this this copyright thing. I don't want to get too deep into this, go down into the rabbit hole too much, but a lot of people piping in. Let's see. Who just said something to me about another song that I'm going to disagree with? Bill Howard, Magic Bill, says prime example is Vanilla Ice and David Bowie, Under Pressure versus Ice Ice Baby. And the reason that is not is because that was a sample that was borrowed.
Correct.
Which
I was going to say,
which
it's
is
the
legally
identical song, isn't
which
it?
was legally sampled.
Yeah.
Wayne says a good example of copyright infringement was your Complete Street songs versus that old song called Beep Beep. Yeah, that's a complete ripoff, Wayne. I ripped it off. But, and he wants me to play that. At some point, I'll squeeze that in. Because Complete Street's back in the news. Or is it the end of Complete Streets? We'll see what the mayor has to say about that.
Here's the thing, too.
The vote came Friday. They voted it down, but the mayor could veto that vote.
Yes, and also somebody said to me over the weekend, that's actually not Complete Streets. They could do a few things to make it, quote, in line with Complete Streets, but actually this isn't full Complete Streets. And in fact, somebody said to me over by Proctor Park there, where they, now I don't know if you've seen this. I saw this for the first time last week. They've basically taken out a chunk of what was sidewalk and grass, and it's all pavement, concrete panels.
Yeah.
That's actually falls in the Complete Streets because you can bike on
that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I don't know what the answer is.
Staying with the copyright infringement.
Sorry.
Okay. My Sweet Lord by George Harrison versus the Chiffons, He's So Fine. Is it the Chiffons or the Shirelles? I forget who did that song. Davey? I don't know. Anyway, here it is. Now you listen to this. This was an example where I believe George Harrison lost this lawsuit, this copyright lawsuit. Listen to this. You can hear it here. So you're talking about the melody of the song, not the chord progression, the melody of the song. It's so close you can mix them together. That's a really good mix of the two songs right there. I mean, that one, that was deemed to be copyright infringement. And here's another one that is really interesting. I don't know if this was my father-in-law that threw this at me or it was Greeley Ford. It was one of the two. But John Lennon stole from Chuck Berry, and there's an interesting story about this, that apparently in the song Come Together, Here Come Old Flat Top, and there was another line in the song where even Paul McCartney said, I don't know, I think you might be stealing it from Chuck Berry. That's not a very good impression, but it's the best I can do. And Lennon was like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Well, Chuck Berry sued John Lennon and the Beatles over that line and won. But didn't want, this is the best part, but didn't want necessarily any money. Now, keep in mind, the Beatles are at the peak of their fame. They're enormous. What Chuck Berry wanted was the Beatles to perform his songs. And he would get rights to it and would be paid every time the Beatles would play one of Chuck Berry's songs. And I believe the story is that every time they opened up a concert, they opened up with Chuck Berry's rock and roll music.
Really?
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll. That's Chuck Berry's song. And royalties came Chuck Berry's way every time. And you think about it, they even recorded some of the songs, some of the Chuck Berry songs, and Chuck Berry made money every time they sold huge copies, huge numbers. The Beatles, of course, were very successful.
Now, I kind of missed what you said there. Did you say the line about "Here Come Old Flat Top" or something? There
were lines that were that basically were stolen from Chuck Berry. The problem, though, is that we're sponges, right? So you hear things and you hear them over the years, and you get it in your head, and all of a sudden. I mean, how difficult is it that something might not pop out and get regurgitated in another form, maybe in another situation where you don't feel like you're stealing from someone else, but it was something that influenced you over the years, and you kind of included in a writing. But when you get caught doing it, it's like, here come old flat top, or whatever is in that song, then you got to kind of recognize the fact that maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe we change it and word it differently so it isn't considered thievery.
Yeah, but to some level, we're all influenced by something.
We are. That's my point. I think that it becomes very, very difficult. But at the end of the day, if you're writing a speech and you're using the exact same line that somebody else wrote 50 years before you, chances are you're going to be nailed with plagiarism. Why do that when you can use these AI apps and just have them write it for you? They'll write it. They don't steal. They recreate the whole thing, and you look brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening.
I'm still scared to death of this
That's
stuff.
coming. Artificial intelligence. It's all coming. We have an update from, Mayor Palmieri and his ball from the other night. The mayor held his annual gala on Saturday night, and here to tell us all about it is the mayor himself, Mayor Rob Palmieri. Good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning.
Morning, Mayor.
How was your ball? How did it go?
It was very good. A lot of people and a lot of dancing.
Nice. Now, Mayor, did you dance with your wife during the whole thing?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Was that a lot of fun?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Now, where do all the proceeds go? You raised some money. Where is it all going to go?
It goes to Make-A-Wish.
Very, very nice. So, all in all, you feel like it was a great success?
Yes, I did.
Do you feel that you might veto the vote by the Common Council the other night and reverse their decision to put a stop to Complete Streets?
I got to think about that one, and I think it's very dangerous, Complete Streets.
Yeah, you're not for it. You're not for it then. No. And, Mayor, I know you've run out of your term possibilities, term limits. You've termed out. Is there any chance
that's what you think.
Is there any chance that you might try to get the Common Council to change those rules so that you can run again?
No, I'm done, and I'll go into retirement.
Okay, all right. There you go. I don't think he's going into. I don't think he's going into retirement. I think he has plans to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do a couple more things to get the right retirement, is what I would see in the plans for Mayor Palmieri. Who knows? Well, good morning, Stefan. What else do you have to report on?
Well, yesterday I did a walk for autism in Yorkville to benefit the Kelberman Center.
Very nice. And you like that facility. You actually live there.
Yes, and also Friday I called into WFAN down in New York. I talked Mets with Sal Licata, the sports host.
What are you thinking? I mean, despite some injuries, the Mets are playing pretty well.
Well, I talked Francisco Alvarez and asked, he's the young catcher, if he should get more playing time or not. And also, he needs to start hitting the ball.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. All right, anything further, Stefan, or you're set?
And today, I'm going to go down to the grand opening of the Brooklyn Pickle down on State Street here in Utica.
Okay, very nice. All right, well, enjoy that, and thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Were you at the Mayor's Gala?
No, I was not.
You were not, okay.
I was watching the Ranger Devils game that night.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Say goodbye.
Thanks for the report, bud. Stay out of trouble.
Bye, Bill.
All right. There
Didn't
you have it.
acknowledge my comment.
No,
there.
he didn't. No, he didn't, because he hasn't stayed out of trouble.
No, and I talked to him about it over the weekend, but I also did tell Stefan, because I know he had a busy weekend. He was all over the place. I just wanted to add to that. I mentioned to him, I did get a sneak peek, if you will, of the Brooklyn Pickle, and their grand opening is today. And I know there's been a lot of excitement about it, because anytime some new food option comes to town, everybody goes nuts about it. But I look forward to having a sandwich there later today, if you will.
We also want to tell you about a new place that has opened up. It's a Utica Thing Kitchen and Bar, which is brand new and wide open at the former Charlie's Pizza in North Utica. Davey, have you been there yet?
No, but I'm going to try it out this week.
Got to check it out at 350 Leland Avenue. And they have a full bar. It's completely remodeled. It is really beautiful inside. And they're making homemade pastas. So everything from pastas to steaks and seafood, Utica favorites like chicken riggies, Utica greens, and all of that stuff. It's a Utica Thing, kitchen and bar, now open. For reservations, call them at 315-738-8946. I believe they're also on Open Table. Do you care to hear about some of the items on the menu?
Yeah.
I mentioned like Utica greens. They have a charcuterie board on the menu, which is meats and cheeses and even a sausage roll included on that. I like that addition. And their pizzas still hand tossed, so you can still get the pizzas. Some of the pastas, haddock oregano, salmon, chicken parm, baked eggplant parmesan, a New York strip sandwich, and some of their entrees, seafood fra diavolo, their bolognese pasta, spaghetti and meatballs, chicken riggies, and the list goes on. It's a Utica Thing kitchen and bar, now open in the city of Utica, North Utica, and the Big Lots Plaza.
So basically, it's a sit-in restaurant. You can't order out and take out?
You could take out.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
But it's a whole new dining room.
I will try it this week.
And it's really, really nice. Get the full experience. For reservations, 315-738-8946. Got a break. Coming right back. 721 at WIBX.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music, and whether it's your home or business, you have a lot invested. In the past, a camera surveillance system was an expensive luxury. Big Apple has now made it affordable. Big Apple is the area's leader when it comes to camera surveillance systems, having installed hundreds locally in homes and businesses. Big Apple is New York State licensed for security and camera surveillance, with most of our products sourced from American companies. Featuring Starlight Night Vision, our cameras dollar for dollar have the best night vision available. A camera surveillance system can offer full property coverage. It prevents and reduces crime, monitors high-risk areas like parking lots and showrooms, and Big Apple has a fully set-up showroom to give you real-time, realistic demonstrations of just how great a camera system can be for you. Stop in and see for yourself at Big Apple Music in New Hartford.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models and factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Are you considering buying an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid? Wouldn't it be nice to just fuel up at home with an EV charging station? Potentia is helping to make the convenience of charging easier for your home and your business. As a leader in green electrical projects, Potentia has completed hundreds of large sustainable commercial projects across New York State and are now getting into the residential market. No more stops at the gas station. Charge at home conveniently and economically. With New York State's zero emissions mandate by 2035, Potentia can help design, supply, even install residential and commercial EV charging systems at your home or your business. From permitting and design through the complete installation, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a turnkey EV charging solution with various packages and options available. They guarantee your satisfaction with all their products and their workmanship. Visit Potentia at 4685 Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford. Give them a call at 315-765-6184 or view their website at potentiamanagement.com.
We invest in Herkimer and Oneida counties. We work with the community to make things better for old and young alike. Today, tomorrow, and in the years to come. Every day, we put the community's long-term savings to work. Who are we? We are the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties. FoundationHOC.org. We're your community foundation, working to build a vibrant region with opportunity for all.
With 20 locations and originating locally, you're sure to find a Cliff's Local Market near you. Cliff's is your local convenience store and so much more. Did you know that our food is hand-cut by us and made fresh? We offer delicious breakfast sandwiches, pizza made with local homemade dough, and a large variety of tasty wraps, subs, and melts. Cliff's serves up a nice assortment of hot brewed Utica coffee and seasonal blends. Find a location near you at cliffslocalmarket.com. Support local. Cliff's Local Market. We keep you going.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
Don't wait for spring. Declutter and clean now. You Call, We Haul does it all, offering 14-foot trailer rentals to haul away all that junk. They offer 2-day rentals for $200 plus dump fee. 5-day rentals, $325 plus dump fee. They'll even drop off a trailer to you. Fill the trailer up, and once you're done, give them a call and they'll haul it all away for you with the first ton on them. Call 315-351-6412 or visit YouCallWeHaulNY.com for your free quote today.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 7:27 coming up. Vikings free money question of the day. Chance for you to win $100 from Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. We'll do it in a bit. Also, running for mayor of Rome on the Republican side. I'm surprised that there is a primary here. No Democrat running against Izzo, but Jeff Lanigan is the Republican who is running against Rome Mayor Jackie Izzo in the upcoming GOP primary. We'll speak with Lanigan for the first time coming up in a few minutes.
Yes, so if you have a question or a comment, you can send it to us.
Can I, before you get to your comments?
Sure.
On the Lennon stealing from Chuck Berry story.
Yeah.
It was on the Abbey Road album. It was the Come Together, but it was where because the timeline isn't right. When you think about it, the Beatles did a number, especially early in their careers, did rock and roll music and other Chuck Berry songs. But it was actually John Lennon who would perform Chuck Berry songs, would open up his concerts as part of the agreement to pay off Chuck Berry.
Gotcha.
It was not the Beatles, because by that point, the Beatles were done.
Gotcha.
So, Mike, my apologies.
Well,
Rick, my apologies. Bill, my apologies.
We did
Tom, my apologies.
We did play some music this morning, and Ralph says the YouTube copyright police have been activated. So I don't know if they paused our broadcast.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, do they do that? They just take it out later?
I don't know. I'm sure they've been activated.
I don't know. Ralph mentioned that they've been activated. I do have and you can send a question or a comment for candidate Lanigan here via the WIBX 950 app. A couple comments I wanted to get to from Friday that we didn't get to. This is on the Complete Streets vote, and Lance and Lee had kind of said that he was liking some of the things that Celeste was doing. We had talked about this on a previous show. But Lance said on Friday, Jeff, Celeste's refusal to acknowledge that most of her constituents don't like the new configuration of Genesee Street makes me realize that she really just wants to push her own agendas. All of the so-called experts at the council meeting were women that, if I had to guess, have never worked in a work zone other than sitting in a vehicle watching traffic.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was a little harsh there. Interestingly, so we hope to talk to Celeste maybe later this week, but they went ahead and voted Friday on...
Wow, I got to tell you, I can't believe how clear that YouTube feed is.
Right now, yeah?
It's really, crystal clear. It's the first time I've seen it. Not that I probably should be paying attention, because for the last 5 minutes we've been taking a picture of a chair, an empty chair. But other than that, it's looked really good. So my apologies. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I find it interesting that Friday they had the vote. It was 5-4. My understanding, I had the split written down here.
So Celeste voted for it.
Katie voted.
Katie Aiello voted for it.
Burmaster voted for it.
Okay.
And Frank Niola.
Oh, okay.
And then the no's were Sam Testa, Mark Williamson. Let's see if I can do this. Venice Irvin, Frank, the mayoral candidate, Frank, why can't I
DeBrango.
DeBrango. And then the fifth was, oh no, Jeff.
Oh, you
Joe
cannot.
Beatrice.
How could you forget Joe Beatrice?
Because I reached out to him yesterday for a comment. I never heard back. That's why.
All right, any other comments you have?
Darlene says, you were talking about the OD Friday and Thursday and probably part of the day Wednesday, too. I canceled my OD subscription last June. I had to block their number. They called me several times a day. trying to get me
God,
back.
they do. They call like crazy.
I told them a couple times I was not interested and to take me off their call list. That's finally when I decided to just block the number.
I all I know is somebody called me up, and finally I said, okay, you'll only have to do it for $30. You'll be with the rest of the year. You'll have digital access. So I did it, but when I log on to the thing,
every time you log on,
I log on, it says you're not subscribed, and then it says reignite your subscription or however they word it, and I do that, and then it says you're not currently subscribed. Subscribe here, but I paid. And it came out. I mean, they came out of my checking account. Whatever. I'm done.
So, it was $30 for a whole year?
I don't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
But the guy wouldn't get off the phone, so finally I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Let's try it again. And then I can't even log into it. So I keep trying to get a hold of somebody. Good luck with that, right? You can't get a hold of anybody because all this stuff is farmed out of state, out of country.
Well, it sounds like they have your number, but you don't have theirs.
That is correct, yes. Actually, we have the free money question coming up in a second. I mentioned that Jeff Lanigan is the Rome mayoral candidate on the Republican side, challenging Jackie Izzo. Later in the week, we'll speak with Mayor Izzo. This morning, for the first time, we'll have Jeff Lanigan on. Also, Hobica's free money question of the day. Right now, Manaski has an update coming up from the news department. We'll do that, and then get everybody in here, and it's all coming up here. Want to tell you about the Omni Surgical Center. If you have back, neck, shoulder pain, if you have severe pain, there is help out there. And we have firsthand experience to talk about with Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica. My father was back in, and somebody had said over the weekend, you're talking about a surgery center, yet the procedure your dad had was non-invasive. And that is absolutely, that's absolutely true, because they also will do injections, which in my father's case went into the spine, in between the discs, or maybe into the discs, whatever it is. But they use they use X-ray technology in order to go in, and it's amazing when you walk in, you can barely walk and you have this terrible pain, but when you walk out, the pain is gone. It's life-changing. It's unbelievable. But there's also less invasive surgeries and back and neck surgeries. It is where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. That is the Omni Surgery Center. And they just have been incredibly amazing for my dad. Call them today. Reach out. They will be glad to assist you. The phone number is 315-765-8448. Or online, this says everything. Their website is killpain.com. Killpain.com. For our family, nothing short of a miracle. 315-765-8448. Dr. Hyder of the Omni Surgery Center, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery.
Bill, we have mostly cloudy skies, 37 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:34. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service, celebrating 70 years in business, 3 generations and counting. Visit them at clintontractor.net. Senate Intelligence Committee Senator Mark Warner is confirming that all U.S. Embassy staffers have been safely evacuated from Sudan. Appearing on ABC's This Week, the Virginia Democrat praised U.S. military and intelligence for getting embassy personnel and their families out of the war-torn country. Warner said the U.S. government has been very clear since 2021 for Americans not to travel to Sudan. A majority of Americans apparently don't want either President Biden or former President Trump to run for the White House in 2024. Listen to these numbers, Bill.
You mean we don't want an exact repeat of what happened?
No. An NBC News poll finds that 70% of those surveyed, including just over half of all Democrats, believe that Biden should not run for a second term. Half of them cite Biden's age as a major factor. As for Trump, 60% of those polled, including a third of Republicans, think the former president should not run in 2024. The mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, says culture and fear.
Watch me.
Culture of fear.
That's Biden's response. You realize that? Watch me.
Yeah, he's supposed to be making the announcement this week, right?
I guess. Unbelievable.
We've been watching, Joe.
Watch me.
The mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, says a culture of fear and paranoia helped lead to the shooting of a black 16-year-old who knocked on the wrong door. Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, Democrat Quentin Lucas said politicians and the media are largely to blame for a culture where people immediately go for their guns. The White House on Monday set to welcome 3 Tennessee state lawmakers who recently led gun reform protests. Representatives Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson will meet with President Biden. Jones and Pearson were expelled by the Republican majority for protesting on the House floor days after 3 children and 3 adults were killed in a school shooting in Nashville. They have since been reinstated. The NBA playoffs continue tonight. The LA Lakers hosting the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 4, and the Milwaukee Bucks visiting the Heat in Game 4. LA and Miami each lead their respective series 2-1. And we're calling all Kyles. The town of Kyles, Texas, is trying to once again set the Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people with the same name. The gathering of the Kyles is scheduled for Sunday, May 21st at Lake Kyle Park. The free event will be the city's 4th attempt at breaking this world record. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for cloudy skies today. Some gusty winds this afternoon and a chance of rain showers, a high of 53 degrees. Could see some sunshine on a limited basis this afternoon. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 34. Tuesday, chance of rain showers mainly between 1 and 5 p.m. Otherwise, a little bit of sunshine, a high of 52. Wednesday, chance of rain showers, mostly cloudy, a high of 51. And then Thursday, Friday, looking much better. Sunny on Thursday, a high of 57. Partly sunny on Friday, and a high of 63. Right now, we have cloudy skies and 38 degrees at 7:38.
All right, Davey, let's do our free money question of the day this morning. It's a chance for you to win $100 and other stuff from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. This morning, Davey, you're looking for caller number what?
Let's go with caller number 3.
Third caller through the lines right now. Your chance to win from Hobeika and WIBX. Here's the phone number to call. Caller number 3 at 315-736-0186. That's the phone number. We'll do it next on WIBX.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there.
It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Yes, it's that time again. Time for the annual spring sale at Wagon Save with unique products for your pups and cats. All your furry friends, and up to 70% off. Shop at WAG-N-Save.com. That's WAG-N, Save.com. Wagon Save offers fast 2-day delivery on most products. Shop fancy treats for your pets at WAGonsave.com. That's WAG-N, Save.com.
Hi, this is Tom Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We're expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville. They're another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy. That fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here's Greg Lee from the newest Gates Cole location, Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville.
The reason why I got into insurance was I wanted to allow my father the opportunity to retire and give back to my community. You know, we had the Boonville fire that wiped out a large area down here for us a few years ago, and so we showed up at the fire. You know, we were right there, ground zero, with our insureds, who made sure that they were taken care of quickly. You know, we were able to get people the money that they needed to cover their expenses from that loss.
For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency, Gates Cole Insurance, proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You know, the other day I said when somebody had the chance to win in April, for the month of April, I said we've only had one winner in April. And Jack made it very clear to us that we've had two winners in April for our free money contest. Jack was the first winner. He won back on, Davey just gave it to me. He won back on April the 5th, 4-5-23. You're keeping track.
There we go.
Sorry about that, Jack. We've got you here, though. You'll be covered. Let's go to Bill in New Hartford, ready to take a shot at winning our free money question of the day. William, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Bill.
All right, are you ready? This is a question from the music category.
Music, okay. I'll give it a try.
Now, I want you to be very, very careful here. All you need to do in this contest, in this question, is come up with an artist. I'm not asking for the name of the tour. All right?
Yeah, an artist.
Just come up with an artist. Whatever artist comes to your mind. I can tell you this is a popular artist. The answer to this question is a popular artist. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, in the music category from the Hobica Law Firm, it's a free money question of the day. Here's your question. This artist holds the Billboard record for the highest grossing tour of all time. Who is the artist? Ready, go.
Oh, Elvis Presley.
You're going to go with Elvis Presley. All right. For some reason, the clock isn't going, and then the buzzer goes off, and bang. Okay, there you go. Your time is up. The answer is Elton John.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be somebody we talked about this morning.
So it turns out that and this makes sense because there was a time when you could go to a concert and spend $30 on a ticket, $20 on a ticket, right?
Yeah.
Less than that.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
I saw the Cars in 1977. I paid $5 for a ticket at the Utica Odd. But today, tickets are so expensive, and there are all of these upsells, and you can get VIP stuff. So you can imagine that the highest grossing tours are probably going on right now. Number 3 is U2. Their tour from 2009 to 2011 grossed $776 million. Number 2, Ed Sheeran, the Divine Tour from 2017 to 2019, $776 million. And the number 1 current highest grossing tour of all time is Elton John's farewell, his current tour, his farewell to the Yellow Brick Road tour.
That makes sense.
$853 million it is grossed. So there you go. All right, William, we will give you the all-in-one food and fun card from the Odd, from Aquavino, Babes, Taylor and the Cook, concession stands at the Adirondack Bank Center at Nexus. And this weekend, the final weekend of the spring season at Fat Cats Comedy Club. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com. Gemini is the headlining comedian. He'll be in studio on Friday morning. And we have a table for you. Davey's going to hook you up and take care of you, okay?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks. That's Bill in New Hartford. Does that surprise you? You want to hear audio?
Yes.
Elton John. Here we go. Notice he's not hitting the high notes anymore. The other people come in and hit the high notes.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is he has reached the age of grumpy. People talk when he's talking. He'll yell at them on stage. Somebody apparently, remember the tour a couple of years ago, they threw a water bottle on stage, and he began chewing them out pretty badly. It was, well, anybody would do that, though, right?
Yeah, he's 76, by the way.
Yeah, he's reached the age of, not all 76-year-olds are grumpy, but Elton John is. In studio right now is Jeff Lanigan. He's running for mayor of the city of Rome in the midst of a primary with Jackie Izzo. In fairness, I do have to say, since Jackie ran, I've been doing her media, so I want you to know that in advance, which almost, I think, sometimes gives you an easier interview because I kind of back off just a
what are you trying to say?
It's going to be
Is this going to turn into an argument between you and I now?
Jeff Lanigan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much for
What
having
I'm
me.
saying is that will not affect this interview at all. So, so why are you running for mayor? What has prompted you to run for mayor of Rome?
So I recently retired from the police department back in May of last year, and excuse me. When that happened, I was approached. Actually, just prior to that, I was approached and asked if I'd ever consider running for mayor. And at first, I had said that I wouldn't. I was leaving a stressful job, and the last thing I wanted to do was dive back into another 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. So I left that meeting, and I respectfully declined, and I left that meeting, and I got out in the public, and I kind of started asking questions and seeing how everybody else felt about where the community was headed and things like that. And the more people I talked to, it seemed that they had the more concerns and the more issues that I had. And I said, you know what, if I have the means and the capability of doing it, if people don't step up and get involved, then, what direction are we going to head in? So that got me to today.
So what are those concerns that you shared, and what is it you want to focus on?
So a lot of things. Obviously, my forte is public safety. As you guys know, crime has risen throughout the last few years across the state, not just in Rome, New York, or Utica, but across the state. So that's a big concern of mine is obviously let's nip that in the bud so it doesn't get overwhelming within our community. Another thing is I have a 5-year-old son, and there was really nothing in our community for the kids. It really been on a decline over the last few years as far as what we do for our kids and the things that we provide. When I was a kid, the Parks and Recreation Department was booming. You threw your glove on your handlebars, rode to the park. You were there from 8:30 in the morning until the street lights came on. We really didn't see that anymore. The programs kind of dwindled. And that's also a change in the world today. They don't do things like we did when we were kids.
You need to have video game programs. Those
exactly.
They'd be overflowing with kids.
They'd be all over
yeah,
it. But you have to evolve with that. You have to come up with new solutions to get these kids. Because honestly, to get kids off the streets and give them things to do, that coincides with crime. You keep kids off the streets. You have programs for them to do. They have after-school programs. That's going to also help with the crime issue, to keep those juveniles off the street. And they don't want to, when you give kids something, they don't want to lose that. So, the old mantra of getting kids into sports, because when they're into sports, they do well in school because they want to continue to play those sports. They don't want to disappoint their teammates or their coaches. So same thing with programs. If you give them a program that they can be a part of, they don't want to lose that, so they're not going to do those things that may get them in trouble.
Let me ask you about crime and public safety. What we hear a lot from some members of law enforcement is that almost, and judges as well, that maybe their hands are kind of tied with the bail reform law, and there are arrests made, but the people responsible just continue to get let out again. Talk about, it would seem that your feeling is not that this is because of a policy change by the state, maybe that there are adjustments that can be made by a local police department in a city. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. We have to do something. You can't just sit back and continue to tell people to call Albany. And this is an Albany problem. It's not a local problem. It's an Albany problem. We have to do something. You have to get into something that can help to deter this somehow. Bail reform really it's a court issue. It's not necessarily a law enforcement issue where we can't go and make those arrests still. Yes, some crimes did get moved from felonies to misdemeanors and things like that, but we can still make those arrests. The issue is that by the time we make that arrest, bring them to the station, process them, they're out the door in 15, 20 minutes, and we're still doing 2-3 hours of paperwork. So the best way that I can say is, as far as with crime today, is the way to circumvent bail reform. The best way to do it is to deter the crime from even happening, because you take bail reform right out of the equation at that point. Because now the crime hasn't happened, you don't have to worry about that person going to court. So it's definitely a hindrance on law enforcement and the court system right now. But we do have to do something at a local level to try to circumvent that.
What do you think are some ideas of things that can be done that aren't being done?
So to me, I really, and it's my view from as a police officer, a former police officer, is that we do need more police out there, because, as I said, that's going to deter the crimes. If you have more proactive units that are out there and they're more visible in problem areas of the city, now that's going to cut back on people wanting to commit crimes when they see a police car roll through the block, every couple minutes compared to every half hour, every 45 minutes. So to me, I really think you need to get more police on the streets to be out there to visibly deter that crime, and come up with some different alternatives to it that you really need to say, what can we do in this day and age with, like I said earlier, with the recreation. You need to evolve with what's going on at this time, and that's what we need to do with law enforcement, is look for what are other ways that people are doing things.
Speaking with Jeff Lanigan, he is a Republican challenger to Mayor Jackie Izzo in the city of Rome. The primary is coming up just around the corner in June, which we're still having a difficult time, I think, getting used to June primaries. How do you handle and this isn't just because I've done work for Jackie. I find this, especially if you talk to people outside Rome, or if you drive through Rome, it seems like they're first of all, the impression of people outside Rome with the current mayor, I think, is very, very positive. And then the changes that have been made, it seems like there have been a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. What do you find fault with what she is doing in terms of moving Rome forward?
Well, the reason why they see that from the outside looking in is because they don't live in Rome.
Right.
They don't deal with the issues that we deal with.
Which I understand. And so what are the issues? What is so if other people see that Rome is progressing, why do some people, or maybe you say a lot of people in Rome, don't see that? And specifically, what aren't they seeing? What are the problems?
Well, one of the major problems with this administration is transparency. We get zero communication from City Hall. We haven't. COVID, City Hall was locked down for probably close to 2 years. You didn't see the mayor. You didn't hear from the mayor. She deferred everything to the Oneida County executive, and we're going to go by what he says. Well, that's fine if you want to take the county executive's recommendations and things like that, but you still need to be a leader. The city of Rome wants a leader. They want somebody they can look at. They want somebody they can rely on, they can depend on, and say, hey, that's the one that's leading our community. You can't hide in your office. You can't hide at your house. You need to be out there in the public, and I think that's a major issue that we have with the current administration. As far as the development within Rome, we have, up on Griffiths Business Park, we have some wonderful entities up there that are doing a fantastic job. You have Mohawk Valley Edge, you have Oneida County Economic Development, you have JLDC. They've done a fantastic job up on the base. That's not necessarily coming from this administration. That's those entities that are making that what it is. The things that inside the city of Rome that the mayor does have control of, the garbage. Can you imagine being there every week and you get a notification on Facebook that your garbage is going to be delayed?
Is that problem still happening?
Still happening. And it just this past week, they were delayed 2 days this past week. People are up in arms about. And that's not a new issue. I think 2020, I think Jim Brown, former mayor, wrote a letter to the editor complaining about the garbage pickup. And it started in 2020. That's when the contract began. Why are we just now, because it's an election year, now all of a sudden we're following garbage trucks and we're making it a point? This should have been nipped in the bud back then.
Yeah.
That they should have come up with other alternatives, whether it's just put another company on notice that if the garbage doesn't get picked up, we have them come in, pick up the garbage, and now we bill the. So
you'd put a second garbage company in?
I'm not saying I would. To me,
you'd be paying two garbage companies.
No, I would bill back the.
You'd bill it back.
I'd bill it back to the company that's supposed to be picking up the garbage. But I'm not saying that would be my plan. My plan would have been to fight this right from the beginning to say you are not holding up to the agreement that we that we made when we gave you this contract.
And I believe the mayor did do that, but you're saying that is because you're saying that that's happening because it's an election year.
What did the mayor do?
Go ahead.
She came on and we asked her about this, I want to say a few weeks ago.
She said
it was
she
a little
put
more
the
than
company
that.
on notice that
Yes.
if it didn't improve, that they would possibly go to seek go the legal route. But even if she did do that, you're saying that's because it's an election year.
This has been 3 years.
Right.
This
Okay.
has been 3 years. Now, all of a sudden, you said 3 weeks ago she was in? 3 weeks ago?
I don't quote me on that. It
Well,
was in the last several weeks. But
It was when this issue became a big issue just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned people coming forward to ask you to run, and obviously it was going to be in a primary. Is there a Republican leadership in Rome that you're saying that kind of wants to make a change as well?
I think the community as a whole wants to see a change. I'm a big proponent of term limits. I think 8 years is enough. I think once you get somebody in there that's been in there for 7 to 8 years, they kind of get tunnel vision. They kind of focus on what's their vision of the city of Rome. And, this administration has done good things for our city. That's fantastic. It's time to pass the torch. It's time to move on to a new generation of leadership, honestly.
Can I also ask about, you said you recently retired from the police department. Can you talk about your career accomplishments, what your rank was when you retired, et cetera?
Absolutely. When I first started out, I began as a patrolman. I worked midnights and afternoons. 2012, the City of Rome enacted a new unit, which was the Community Impact Unit, that was focused on nuisance areas within the city, high crime areas. I was one of the first members that was asked to be part of that unit, and we effectively we had a phenomenal amount of arrests. We built fantastic relationships with local businesses, things like that. I did that up until 2015. In 2015, I was moved to the detective division. I was promoted to the rank of detective. I spent my last 6.5 years as a detective. I did mostly major case homicides, bank robberies, major assaults, things like that. And then also my last 3.5 years, I was the president of the Philip S. McDonald Police Benevolent Association, which is the union that represents all the police officers in Rome, except for the chief and deputy chief.
Challenging an incumbent in a primary is obviously a difficult thing. What would you say to voters as far as the biggest change or difference that they would see under your administration versus the current administration?
Transparency and energy. We are going to be out there. If they have questions, if they want to meet with me, anything like that, they're going to have the ability to do that. Excuse me. One of the major things we want to do is quarterly town hall meetings. So they're going to have the ability, at least 4 times a year to sit in front of the mayor and department heads and voice their concerns, voice their opinion of what they think direction the city should go into. One of the things with the ARPA funding that kind of bothers me is that I know she just proposed to spend the last bit of ARPA funding that we have. She's never once put that out to the community and said, well, what do you guys think we should do with this funding? What would you guys like to see? I know Utica did that. So that's something that I'm going to bring to the table as far as get the community involved. We are not a booming metropolis. We're a tight-knit. We're a city, but we're more of a tight-knit town. It's more people want to be involved. They want to have that ability to reach out and speak with the mayor and voice their concerns and voice what direction they feel the city should go in.
And on the transparency issue, have there been issues that you're aware of where people tried to reach out and get information and couldn't get it, or is that in regard to, you said during COVID you felt like she was basically just deferred to the county executive?
No, absolutely. People have voiced numerous times. If you watch any of the common council meetings, you would see that several people have gone there and stated that they've reached out to the mayor's office, didn't receive a call back, or they received a call back from another person, and it's not who they wanted to speak with. There's been several issues with that.
All right. Jeff Lanigan, that was all. Do you have any additional questions?
No, I'm good. I think
and
we'll do
I
it.
went over. I didn't even realize I went
trying
over
to
time.
warn you on that, but
sorry.
You'll come back, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Thank you so
Jeff
much for having
Lanigan,
me.
we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will do it again. It's 8 o'clock. WIBX Utica, Rome. News straight ahead.
Army's general for control of the country. President Biden is keeping U.S. forces in neighboring Djibouti as he monitors the fighting. Tomorrow, the president's expected to announce he's running for re-election. But former President Trump tells Fox,
we are in the most dangerous position we've ever been in as a nation right now. And we have a leader that just doesn't know what's going on.
But a new NBC News poll shows most Americans don't want a 2020 rematch in 2024. 70% say they don't want President Biden to run, many citing his age. 60% don't want Donald Trump to run, though he is the Republican frontrunner. They'll start to pick a jury today to put an accused mass murderer who targeted Jews on trial 5 years after 11 people were killed at a Pittsburgh synagogue.
Robert Bowers could face the death penalty once a jury is selected and testimony begins. Bowers faces 63 total counts, including murder, hate crimes, and obstructing the free exercise of religion, resulting in death.
Fox's Gernal Scott. We won't be getting any more of those big Bed Bath & Beyond coupons in the mail anymore. The retailers filed for bankruptcy and will shut down and close stores after selling off assets.
In the meantime, the company says it will continue to pay employee wages and benefits, and its 360 Bed Bath & Beyond stores, as well as its 120 Bye Bye Baby stores, will remain open.
That's Fox's Jonathan Seri. America's listening to Fox News.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft, because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. And my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
Mostly cloudy skies, 37 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's. Shop My Carl's today for the lowest prices, no credit needed financing, and fast same-day delivery in the New Hartford Shopping Center and in Destiny, USA. Still no state budget, and it's more than 3 weeks and counting for Governor Kathy Hochul and state lawmakers. A budget extender that was approved last week is scheduled to expire today, which means the legislature will need to pass another one so that state government can keep running. One thing that has reportedly been dropped from the final budget is the governor's plan for affordable housing. The initial deadline to pass the budget was April 1st. Gas prices are going up. Are you feeling the pain at the pump? According to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel here in the Utica Rome market is now at $3.68 a gallon. That is a pretty sharp increase over what we had seen of late. In fact, as I pull it up here, the average price in the Utica Rome market is up more than 22 cents over the past month, up 9 cents over the past week. $3.68 is the local average this morning. Statewide, it is $3.67. In Syracuse, they're paying $3.66. Price Chopper Market 32 issuing a voluntary recall for one of the snack items sold in stores. The supermarket chain says their 10-ounce packs of Picks Honey Mustard Pretzel Twists from Dakota-style foods have an allergen of milk in them. That information, though, is not included on the packaging. Customers who purchase the product can return it to their nearest store to get a full refund. Utica police following up on several overdose cases involving the use of synthetic marijuana. Police say they have seized what they believe is tainted product and have made 2 arrests. UPD issued a public safety alert last week while investigating the overdose incidents, saying they believe the victims had consumed synthetic pot laced with benzodiazepine. Following searches of 2 area smoke shops, investigators say they did find synthetic marijuana laced with alprazolam. It's a benzodiazepine often prescribed to treat anxiety and panic disorders. 2 men have been charged. Robert Hill and Bandar Altiari, 36, both from Utica, were charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance. Additionally, following a search of those smoke shops, one at Romano Convenience on Oneida Street and the other at the James Street smoke shop, Utica smoke shop, police seized over 300 packages of synthetic marijuana, over 100 untaxed cigarettes, and a few $1,000s in cash. More details on that story at WIBX950.com. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for a cool-off here. It's not going to be great to start the week, but we won't be into the 30s or anything like that. We do have a slight chance of showers this afternoon. Could see some sunshine as well, a high of 53 degrees today. Increasing clouds through the overnight tonight with a low of 34. Chance of rain showers Tuesday between 1 and 5 p.m. Could squeeze in some sunshine tomorrow as well. Again, a high of 53. Showers expected on Wednesday with a high of 51. Sunshine Thursday, 57 the high. Partly sunny with a high of 63 on Friday. Bill, right now we have mostly cloudy skies, 37 degrees. WIBX news time is 8:07. All right, checking sports. Both the Mets and Yankees were losers on Sunday, but I've lost the comment here. As Hawk in Utica says, who won tickets to the Comets game Friday night, felt that earthquake with about 2 seconds left in the game on Friday. Thanks for the tickets, guys. I appreciate it.
Nice.
That from Hawk in Utica. Of course, the Comets scoring to force overtime with 2 seconds left in the game, and then they get the winner. The Comets advance to the second round. They will open up against the Toronto Marlies coming up on Thursday. The Comets' next home game would be next Wednesday, May 3rd. NHL playoffs continue. The Hurricanes have a commanding 3-1 lead over the Islanders. Carolina took that advantage after a 5-2 victory in Game 4. The series will shift back to Raleigh for Game 5 tomorrow night at PNC Arena. The Devils and Rangers face off tonight at Madison Square Garden. The Blue Shirts lead the series 2-1. The Devils looking to pull even. NBA playoffs. How sweet it was to see the Knicks with a pair of victories at MSG, and they looked good yesterday as well as they knocked off the Cleveland Cavaliers 102-93. The Knicks now lead that series 3-1. Jalen Brunson led all scorers with 29 points. One of the Knicks' top players is still dealing with an injury. Head coach Tom Thibodeau saying after the Game 4 win that Julius Randle is still dealing with that left ankle injury. He suffered that at the end of the regular season. Randle did not play through the fourth quarter, but was not needed as the Knicks were in cruise control. The Nets saw their season come to an end on Friday. They were swept by the Philadelphia 76ers. Your Game 4 final was 96-88. At NASCAR over the weekend, Kyle Busch wins at Talladega in overtime. And what else did I forget here? Mets lost the series finale to the Giants last night, a final of 5-4. And the Blue Jays earned a victory in their rubber match over the Yankees. 5-1 was the final there. Clark Schmidt was tagged with the loss. The Yankees, now 13-9, will begin a 7-game road trip. They visit the Minnesota Twins for the opener of a 3-game series coming up tonight. The Mets welcome the Nationals to Citi Field starting tomorrow night.
Okay, we heard about the city of Rome and their upcoming mayoral race. In Utica, there's a mayor's race as well happening that doesn't involve an incumbent. Mike Galimi is one of those candidates. He's also the president of the Common Council. And on Friday, the vote down came against Complete Streets.
There's also a race going on Genesee Street because you have to speed up in certain spots to get in front of the slow driver when the two lanes merge to one.
Kind of like a little beep-beep type thing.
Beep, beep.
Wayne. We'll see. We'll get to that coming up in a second. Stand by. It's 8:10 at WIBX.
Power Sports in Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there.
It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Adam and Grace finally made it to retirement. They decided this was their time. They drove in from Herkimer to Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster. They wanted to see the number bed they'd heard so much about. Adam had a bad back. He liked his side firm. We elevated his head, his feet, put the massage on medium. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Grace liked her side softer. She was a 24. She had her head elevated slightly less, her feet a little higher, and the massage on high. They were thrilled to find out it had a 25-year industry-leading warranty. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, so they didn't have to wait for their tax return. For their luxury reward, they chose a 65-inch flat-screen TV. They laid on the Purple and the Puffy, the big online brands while they were there, but the number bed was for them. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com or visit any store.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When they're investigating, we can't stop watching. This month on BritBox, sit back, relax, and enjoy watching the detectives. Discover Britain's most bingeable mysteries, including the brand new season of Grace, the hit series based on the books by best-selling author Peter James. Unwind with the detectives you could watch all night long. Stream them all now exclusively on BritBox. Endlessly intriguing. Start your free trial at BritBox.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck Sedella, and you know he holds court there every single day with the most delicious coffee. Would you agree with that?
Not only the most delicious coffee, right? What I go there for is the red velvet glazed donut.
Those are delicious.
Right. That is my number one ask at Daily Donuts.
The
is
red
the red velvet glazed donut.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Those donuts are made fresh every single day, along with fresh bagels. And, of course, Seattle's best coffee. The drive-thru is lightning fast. You're in, you're out, you're on your way. You're not sitting there and sitting there.
It helps when the guest pitches in, right?
And sitting there, it does.
It does. It helps when the guest pitches in and says, yeah, you know what? That's a great business. We love it.
Now, that's a Utica guy telling you to go to New Hartford.
Uh-oh.
It's all right.
You're going to get in trouble now, Mike.
You did the right thing there, Mike. Thank you. Good morning, Mike Galimi. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
Monday.
Complete Streets gets voted down.
It did. And I believe I'm here to explain the Friday meeting. Is that what's
Friday?
going on?
Yeah,
that's part of it. I want to see what you would do if you were mayor. If you were male.
We found it to be very interesting that this thing happened so quickly.
So you mean the actual inception from when the legislation was given out?
No, the meeting, the actual meeting, the special meeting.
That's my point, right?
I also want to say here, part of the reason we brought in Mike for his perspective.
The details of that. Actually,
not only is he running for mayor, but you actually don't have a vote in this
Correct.
process unless it's a tie-breaking vote.
Correct.
So I thought it was kind of you didn't maybe get a chance to fully express how you felt about this or how it broke down. But let's begin there. The Wednesday to Friday, isn't that a violation of rules?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So there's two things. One, a couple of years ago when the council, during the beginning of my second term in 2020, started changing the rules of order. Now, you remember in 2015 when I ran on the fact that they weren't following the rules of order.
Right.
And then I got in 2016, established a stronger committee system with less committees, and made sure we drove the legislation in accordance with the rules of order. Part of that was that all legislation had to go to a committee, even if it was the committee of the whole, okay? First, before it hit the floor. What the council did, the majority changed that in this council term, okay? They made it now so the rules of order state, and this has nothing to do with committees, if you will, if you get into that whole thing. It has to do with the legislative process. All legislation now, instead of being put in a committee first, worked on, and then pulled out of committee once it's ready on the floor, Now what happens in the City of Utica Common Council is all legislation is introduced on the floor first, which gets around second-class cities law. Second-class cities law states that a piece of legislation, an ordinance, needs unanimous vote the first time the legislation is seen. But the catch is, the way the council does this now, and these are the rules they adopted that I have to drive the council with, so this is not my choice, right? Now, all legislation hits the floor first and then only needs 5 votes to pass after that. So, they introduced the legislation Wednesday. On the floor, by majority vote, they scheduled a meeting. So if it was outside the context of the meeting and they said, we want to meet, they'd have to follow their rules of order and say, listen, we need 72 hours. And I noted that on Wednesday's meeting. I said, listen, your rules say 72 hours. But I said, if the majority votes to have a meeting earlier than that, then that's the majority vote on the floor.
Okay.
So I talked to the judge real quick, made sure, because I knew that was the case. So it was 5 votes, they said. So they overrode their own rules to have that meeting on Friday. Yes.
What did you think about that, having it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday? What was the rush?
Well, not only that, but
legal, but
it was legal, but
But why?
There's multiple people that work in school districts. I obviously, there's a couple people who have jobs, if you will, that are very flexible. So I was like, whatever, I could be there too. That's great. But it was odd. I don't want to call it a cheap shot, but just before actually speaking to the body, saying we're going to have a meeting at 2 o'clock on a Friday, not only for the council people, but also for the people who want to watch the meeting. Everyone was at work. All the businesses were open. That was kind of messed up. It was right at the end of lunch hour when many of the businesses who might want to come speak on behalf of that legislation literally could not walk away.
So were you surprised with the outcome? I talked to some counselors who
a lot of people thought
were
it was just going to pass.
It ended up being a 5-4 to not keep it, where the thought was they would at least have 5 votes to kind of force it through.
I mean, I was only surprised because typically when something happens that quickly, they have votes lined up.
And they
through
know they have the
lobbying,
votes.
one-on-one lobbying.
Right.
So I really thought it was done. There was discourse on the floor Wednesday, at a committee meeting Wednesday as well. And people talked about it on Friday. They hashed it out. I don't know, and I can't say that was a 5-4 vote to vote it down walking in on at 2 o'clock on Friday. It's very possible the discussion is what changed that, but there was a couple swing votes because there was definitely 3 people 100% for this thing. 3 people who thought that not only the process was flawed, but the right people as far as the community weren't brought in to actually discuss it before even the trial started. So there was a lot of angst around it, but it happened the way it happened, though.
What are the 2 things? Number one, don't you think it's better for Celeste Friend and for Katie Aiello to 2 months before the primary to just get this thing out, get it done, and get it past them so they can react, whether it passes or it fails? And the other part is, will the mayor veto that?
So the mayor has nothing to veto. It didn't pass.
Right.
But it's
nothing went to the mayor.
Couldn't the mayor institute it without the Common Council?
So the mayor, who is also the public safety commissioner, can implement trials, et cetera. They did that in Herkimer Road after talking to people. That is how they reinstantiated the trial after the 90 days the council requested expired this year. Okay. But to make it permanent, they need that ordinance.
Okay.
And I spoke directly after the meeting. I actually went over that with our council attorney, who is Judge Garamone, and just to double check. And
you're right. What do you veto? There's nothing to veto.
Well, he also said no. The council has to make all these changes permanent.
It
needs to be an ordinance. That's why they needed the ordinance in the first place to pass it Friday. If the mayor could have made this permanent, maybe the mayor would have just made it permanent, right? But that's not how the process was working.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe I meant I shouldn't have said override, but I guess meant force it on his own. But you're saying if that could have happened, then maybe they would have just went that route anyway.
It's Monday.
He still could.
He could do another trial, right? I mean, that's what happened when the first trial expired. They said, no, we're going to keep it going.
This would be a better time to do a trial, and it would be a better time to do the trial all the way it was originally planned.
Well, so
because it never really reached.
But did you notice in the plans, which this came up at the meetings, both meetings, once we saw the final plan that was released in the study, et cetera, and they had the final drawings, that the bike lane, which was a lot of the discussion in this, did not go past Cornelia Street anyhow. So if they had implemented the trial from Oriskany Street to Cottage Place, what you would have seen anyhow was the bike lane only go another block, actually, than it did already.
Right.
So, I mean, we were all proponents of saying, one, we probably should have had some process and communication before, right? But if you were going to do the trial the way you asked to do the trial, they should have done the whole thing. Right now is not the time to do it, though. Yes, it's warmer now, but you know, we had a lot of different discussion, and I had a lot of different commentary.
Well, the hospital getting ready to open. I mean, when I say it's a better time to do it, it would be better to do it just before, after the snow is gone, as opposed to just before the snow is
not
coming.
only after the snow,
Right.
but we have a lot of different things going on.
Sure, you got the
state
hospital,
of the city,
Nexus. There's a lot happening.
Well, you know what a lot of people are also forgetting is that Mayro building is also empty right now. There was, I think, over 10 storefronts very active right there. Kempf building empty right now, which is under renovation, even though it looks stagnant.
Yeah.
It is under renovation next to Fort Schuyler Club. That building's empty right now. But that wasn't the only thing that happened. The other point of contention at the meeting Friday was there was that other piece, the resolution, which the council also voted down. And that's been part of the discussion. That was a resolution requesting that the trial end. That got voted down not only because people voted against it, but some of the people voting against that said they didn't even understand why they were doing that in the first place, which I agreed with that. The council originally asked for the study, right? Said, let's do this for 90 days.
Yeah.
That had expired already. So what we were currently in was the mayor's extension of the study. So for this to actually be expired at this point, it's not, the council doesn't have to ask to be done with what they asked for. That already expired. Now the mayor's expired. Here we are. They voted down the ordinances. The roads should be restriped as originally striped.
Because right now it's a faded mess.
Yeah, so I guess you say they should, but the council or somebody has to act to make that happen, right? It's not just DPW says, "Oh, it expired. Let's go repaint."
No, that's exactly no. That is exactly what should happen.
It's gone
when
now.
you're done paving a road and there's no striping.
Yeah.
The city does not allow that road to sit unstriped because it's there's no direction, there's no lanes, there's no nothing. It's just a road, right?
Are
It's a
there clear
free-for-all.
lanes there right now?
No, because the temporary striping has faded.
Yeah.
And you can actually see some of the old striping through the
So
fading.
as I said, it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, it's so
and
it
so
needs to be
as of today or as of Friday night, Complete Streets is done.
No, the road diet. Complete Streets is a policy that you implement when reconstructing a road or rebuilding a road or repaving a road, and you want to be more inclusive to multimodal transportation.
Let me say it this way. Does that mean that the 4 lanes, we revert back to 4 lanes? When did that happen? Did that happen right after the vote? There are no lines there now.
This is the question.
No.
Here.
So
somebody's got to take the lead on this.
And I'm taking the lead right now.
Not you. I don't mean
no. I'm fine taking the lead and explaining this to the public. Okay, this was just like they all said 154 times. When I say they all, the people that implemented the trial, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the council people that were behind it, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a trial.
I
The trial
understand
has
that.
now
Yeah.
expired twice. We just had ordinances to make the trial become permanent get voted down. So if you go through all of the legislation and all the actions of both the administration and the council in sequential order, this is no different than it was before. That is a 4-lane striping job right now.
Okay.
That's what it is.
When did it expire, by the way?
I don't know the exact date, but it expired, I think, late January was the first 90 days, and then the mayor extended another 90, so then they called it a 180-day trial because it was back-to-back.
Yeah.
So it was a few weeks ago.
What did you get from the study? Personally, you. And what information was presented?
In the CNS study?
Yeah, I know that when they re-extended the study, they hired a firm out of Syracuse.
CNS.
It was CNS.
Yes.
To do the study. My understanding is they examined the traffic pattern for one day. Was it only for one day, and then submitted information to the city?
In the study that I read, it looked like one day. When they were in person, they said they did do a few days. So it might have been the week of that vacation break,
Okay. It was
February
like
break.
yeah.
A few days. Because the ladies that came and presented, it was a nice presentation. And they were open to questions. It wasn't like they were combative to the council, right? But they did say a few days. But yeah, they used traffic data from 2018 when they originally did a study for the hospital. And then they did some observational work in February. And that's what the study was.
Can I just something that doesn't seem to make sense to me?
Which, by the way, I did want to mention something about the study. There was a couple things that I had asked at the Wednesday meeting when they were at the committee meeting. The other thing is when they came back to do their observational work. Now, I work downtown, not just as council president, but in the 258 building. They came back and did that during vacation, during break. I wasn't in the office. My building was half empty. They did that during not only February is considered a slow month because of the weather, but they also did that during the break when everyone was gone in Florida. So
I have to ask
we should probably do that during a different time as well.
So
if we
I
wanted
have
to do it.
So I have Frank Miola saying the 4-lane legislation was voted down.
No.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
If Frank's listening and texting in,
Frank, call in.
315. There's a resolution.
7360186. Please call in.
So is he saying that we have this wrong?
I'm just reading what he said. The 4-lane legislation was voted down. What I was going to
That
say.
wasn't 4-lane legislation. That was a resolution from the council saying, can we please end these studies, end the trials, and just go back? Can we call it a day here? That's a resolution.
Was
resolution
there
not binding.
4-lane legislation that was voted on?
No.
Okay. So 315-7360186, Frank. Now listen, what I'm saying though is if this thing expired, let's say it was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
You now have all of this publicity about how you need to do the complete street lane situation.
Which let me be political right now.
Let me finish.
During an election season for some weird reason.
Let me finish.
Right?
You have faded lines.
Yeah.
The old faded lines.
Total chaos.
The new faded lines. Some people think the complete streets are still in play there.
Mm-hmm.
Others think it's reverted back to 4-lane. You've got chaos
No,
right
it has
now.
been chaos
Yeah.
since the lines have faded. So, and across the board,
Everybody's
I wanna
doing
say,
their own thing
no,
right
but so
now.
here's the thing. I do want to say that all 9 council people,
Oh,
all 9
Jeff,
voting
Jeff.
members said, look,
Keep calling, Frank. We'll
we
get-
have to get something decided here because there's no lines and there's faded lines and it is
Right.
chaos. So that's the reality of it.
Okay. Manasseh's answering phone lines because
All right.
I had forgotten that Davey is.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't get in. Davey was running out the door.
Running
and
out the door.
I was trying to get in. He's like, you can't get in when I leave. I'm like, all right,
This
well.
is probably not a great example of city leadership at this point. How would it be different if you were mayor? Would it be any different?
Oh, it would be absolutely different. In the beginning of this, I would have been in front of this if the council came to me about it, or it was me suggesting it. Because that's kind of clouded as well as far as who was driving this, right? Like who initiated the process. That was a discussion last year. But as far as right now, if the council brought ordinances to the floor, to make this permanent, after all of this and after all these studies, and the council was supposed to make a decision one way or the other, and they made the decision to not do it, I would be immediately talking to engineering and saying, okay, we need to put
Let's
this
get
back.
Let's do something.
Yeah,
Get
we
some
need to put
lines.
it back because that is what the council decided
And
right
some
now.
publicity would be nice so that people knew what was going on. We're all confused.
Yeah.
Here is Frank Miola. Hi, Frank. Good morning.
Frank, good morning. How's it going, man?
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good. All right. What are you saying? You're saying that the legislation for a 4-lane street was voted down?
Yes, that was the last piece of legislation that was introduced by 4 of my colleagues.
It was a resolution requesting for the trials to be done and to restripe the road back to 4 lanes in accordance to current law. Now,
Correct,
that's a
and that was
resolution.
voted down.
And that was voted down?
See, that's what I mean. There was a vote on restriping, so there's a question as to what happens next.
There was a vote on a resolution
to restripe.
No.
Okay.
Isn't that not what you just said?
If you read the resolution, okay, That was a request to please ask the mayor to do the right thing and be done with this if the trial expires. The mayor does not have to do one thing or the other based on a resolution. That's why even the first one was a resolution asking. So the council decided to vote down a resolution that certain people didn't even understand why it was on the table, because the original thing the council asked the mayor to do by resolution, which he did, was expired.
All right, Frank, go ahead.
Basically, the council did vote down changing it back to 4 lanes and having the mayor stripe it to 4 lanes. So actually, the mayor does not know what direction to go in at this time. He will probably ask us with a letter to be specific about what direction the road should be in. It's in a gray area right now because the council didn't vote one way or another. The legislation that was proposed was to enhance complete streets, to change and continue the bike route up Genesee Street. All those pieces of legislation were shut down, and so was changing it back to 4 lanes. So at this time, it's a moot point. It realistically has no direction yet for the mayor and the administration to take, so that we do have to clarify it someday very soon, because as our engineers and a lot of DOT and survey people told us very clearly, the signage and the striping need to be done as soon as possible so the motorists have proper direction during that intersection.
Hey,
Right.
I'll applaud
Well,
that one.
and that's what I just said before Frank was on the phone. So, Frank, I do have a question for you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
Now, currently, we needed an ordinance to change it to 3 lanes, correct?
Correct. No, actually, no.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the mayor using public safety policy. Here's my question.
The mayor doesn't change the streets. We do. He all he
Okay,
did was
the mayor
extend-
doesn't change, the
all he
streets
did
do.
was-
So has the
the
council,
council does.
has the council passed an ordinance right now to change it to 3 lanes? This is procedure.
No.
No.
Yes, they passed it.
No, they
as
did
a
not.
90
Well, let him
they
finish.
did pass it. How did the street change unless we passed it?
It was a trial.
How did the street change?
Frank, I have
Michael,
a
during the
question.
trial
When you
period?
guys,
The
when you
streets
guys,
did change.
when the voting council, yourself included, voted last year
I was
on
there-
a resolution to request the mayor to implement a trial, was that an ordinance?
No, it wasn't an ordinance.
No, it
That
wasn't
means
an
not
ordinance.
permanent.
And have we passed an ordinance through the council right now that changed the street to 3 lanes?
At this time, no, because
No,
we
we did
didn't
not.
reaffirm it. There
No,
is
we
a
did not.
resolution on the table that covers the change, as you saw, because the road just did change. Now, what we have to do, that's what the mayor needs, another piece of legislation to say, or an ordinance, like you're saying, absolutely, to make sure it's rectified.
it is the
now,
mayor-
He has to say, now, a resolution
Hold
gives
on,
you
you hold
an opportunity. Ordinance makes it concrete. You know that, Michael. So
Okay.
now all we got to do is wait until the council has an ordinance on what direction they would like to see the road.
So I have another question. Is it not the mayor's role to execute the code of ordinances as the administrator of the city? It is the mayor's role to ensure that the
Absolutely,
code
it's
of
his role.
ordinances is
Absolutely.
enforced, correct?
Yes, that's absolutely.
All right,
it's
and
his role.
has the
Absolutely.
council passed an ordinance as of now to change to 3 lanes?
Well, he's saying no.
Well, I know he said no, but apparently we have to keep repeating this.
Okay.
So
By the
that's
way,
the
I
case.
was there
It's
was
the
a
mayor's
mo-
role right now to
there
put
was a-
this back.
There was a
not
moment
to keep it in limbo.
There was a moment where I thought, with the changing of the guard in Utica, that things were going to change. I'm so glad to feel
Well,
right
this
now
will.
everything's going to be the same.
You feel,
Well,
you feel
no, no,
good.
you haven't-
you feel
Nothing's
good, Billy.
changing.
Oh,
Nothing's
a
gonna
lot of
change.
things will be changing.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Frank, I want to ask you this question. Being the kingmaker that you are
Well, he's the
on the
majority.
Oh, here we
Democratic
go.
side,
He is the
I
majority
understand.
leader of the council.
I understand.
Well, you said
I'm just
kingmaker.
Well,
the
the
kingmaker for the party, as we all know him. So the question is, and the fact that the Democrats have a majority, when this is all said and done, what are we going to be looking at there on Genesee Street, in your opinion?
Basically, I don't know, because change is hard for many of us,
Yeah.
and you know that. I have to have 5 council members support any change
Yeah.
that needs to be done. So at this time, there's no support for any direction. So I'm waiting for the 5 of us to get together to have a direction
Okay.
and go from there.
All
But
right.
right now, it's all in limbo. And I'm sorry, I'm in a customer's car. I
I hear that.
apologize for calling up.
And then so everything's in limbo right now, or it's a wait and see. Okay. I'll give it to you. Final question for you, Frank, though, is who do you support for mayor in Utica?
That's going. Frankie DeBrango, absolutely.
You're definitely in DeBrango's court here. So
absolutely.
All right.
And just to be clear, if I'm mistaken, DeBrango voted against this, correct? He voted against this. Yeah, he voted with the Republicans.
His viewpoints. He feels that it should be back to 4 lanes until the hospital is completed, and then entertain any difference in street direction after that.
All right. Okay, Frank, we appreciate it. Glad to have you call in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Frank, and I'd love to hear from him. So we have a damn near quorum here. I've got Katie Aiello on the phone and Samantha in my Facebook.
So let's not get a quorum on the radio and break open meetings law here.
So we don't have that many.
Frank's gone,
but
so we're
we
good.
do have. Okay, so this is from Katie Aiello. The engineers said they inflated the numbers for the study because it was winter break, I think she meant, but there was a typo. They also made the decision to not put it back. We didn't need an ordinance. The public safety commissioner does. That was from Katie. And then Samantha says, withdrawing street trial program, that was the resolution that was, that's what the resolution was titled. The mayor doesn't know what to do, ? Grow up. He's the public safety commissioner. And he just called and said that the council has to change it. They didn't change it. That was in response to Frank. Therefore, she says it stays the same. I do think there's a lingering question as to what happens now. Does it go to 3 lanes or does it go to 4? So Lance and Lee commenting this morning, and correct this if this is wrong. He says, thank God they voted this debacle down. That alone made me change my mind about Celeste. It looked as though Katie was actually crying during the meeting, and I like how Mike came in with alternative facts. I don't believe the city of Utica has their own paint stripper. I think they contract everything out. Is that correct?
We do. That's
again. So there is not a directive. This is the point I was trying to make earlier. For someone to come paint the streets, they've got to be hired now to do it. It's not like there's somebody on staff for the city who says today's my day to rake the leaves.
I disagree. Okay,
but you have a community that is in limbo.
Let's explain how some things work here.
You don't think the community is in limbo?
The
people
it absolutely
are driving?
is. That's why I'm here. And I'm trying to explain the direction we should be taking right now. But with contracting, with engineering, we don't have our own paving either, but we still pave. Just because we don't have the equipment.
Nobody goes and paves Bacon Street, the street I grew up on, until someone says, go pave Bacon Street.
Right, and the point here is this. We just went through a very long trial. I wanted to summarize the reason for the 5-4 vote to vote it down.
Okay.
The majority of the reason amongst all the council people were that even if they wanted to do something like this and try it, they wanted to see it tried for real in practice after the hospital is populated, for real in practice after Nexus has a giant, hockey tournament, for real after the buildings are done being redeveloped. That was the majority of the reason on the floor why they said, listen, put it back to 4 lanes now so we can end the chaos. Okay?
But then they didn't pass that.
No. See, here's the problem with having a resolution that's ambiguous. Okay? I'm telling you what the actual factual ordinances that were passed. Ordinances govern the city. The mayor right now, if I was the mayor, you asked me how would this be different if I was the mayor, right?
I did ask you that.
Okay. The council just went through asking for all this trial for the last 180 days and almost 200 days at this point. They just brought to themselves an ordinance and it was a set of ordinances to change it. They voted that down. As the mayor, I have to say, well, then I have to execute the law that's on the books, put it back to 4. And as even the people who voted it down said, maybe we'll be looking at this again after the hospital's open. Because they want to see it in practice. They don't want to see numbers inflated or deflated, et cetera, et cetera.
So the question is,
there is no question. The law, what's on the books right now is 4 lanes. Yeah, sorry. It's just ridiculous that people think this is still ambiguous.
Listen, my question is, just to clarify, by the fact that everything failed, it would revert back to the original status, which was 4 lanes. Does the mayor have to do something to get somebody? Or does the council have to do something?
The mayor has a choice right now.
Let me finish. Does the mayor have to do something, or does the council have to do something to get the lines painted so that there is some sort of direction and normalcy on the street in front of the Stanley Theater?
It is the mayor's role to ask the
Or near
engineer-
the Stanley
It is the
Theater.
mayor's role as the person who executes the code of ordinances to ask the engineering department to restripe it back to
So
4
at
lanes.
this point, nothing can be done.
No, they could restripe it to 4 lanes.
But the mayor's got to
Without the mayor?
No, the mayor has to have
But
the
if this- so
engineering
if thi-
department
so
direct
if this-
that
with it-
activity.
Without
Yes.
the mayor taking action, nothing can happen.
Well, in my opinion, the city engineer should be just doing it because the city engineer also has the fiduciary responsibility to maintain that the roads are safe in any conditions, and right now it's not.
Now,
There is no
Frank,
striping. So to complete any work, because you got to remember, this all started because they paved that. They paved the road. Before they restriped the road back to 4, which they were already automatically going to do because that's what it was supposed to be on the books in the Code of Ordinances, the council said, before you restripe that, we want to do a trial. When the trial ends, we'll make a decision. The decision was just made not to make the trial permanent. Now, if you go back to the actual meeting, which is on YouTube, before they pulled that last resolution, I even said on the floor, you don't actually have to do anything with this resolution now because the actual action of the council had already expired previous to the current 90 days that the mayor actually asked for.
Okay.
So this, if you look at our code of ordinances and you look at the sequential things that were done, the road is now 4 lanes, and right now,
That's
the
what should
couple
be.
blocks that the trial happened on, the engineering department and under the direction of the mayor is responsible for putting back to 4 lanes.
Well,
so
that's
we can
not going to
have-
happen, it
we
looks
can
like.
end chaos.
They're going to wait for the mayor or
Well-
Frank Miola. By the way, I know you're going to hate me to say this, but Jeff Lanigan, who's running for as a Republican as mayor of Rome, made some comparisons to, like Utica did it. Like Utica did it. I'm not sure those are good comparisons right now. Because
a
this
couple
looks
more
crazy.
comments.
This looks crazy.
No,
Mike,
it doesn't. It does.
And I think where you and I are disagreeing about whether action is required, I guess my point is
You can't leave the roads unstriped.
correct. So they went and striped it with the 3-lane design, right?
No, they didn't go and stripe it. The council passed a resolution last year requesting that the mayor have the engineering department implement a 3-lane trial.
And he did.
Based on the map that was created in 2012.
And that was how they striped it.
And they did.
The point,
the
though,
company that does
expired.
it, though, the company
Yes.
that does it is going to eat that cost.
No, we paid for it.
You already paid for both designs.
No, we paid to have it striped with the temporary striping last year.
and now it's faded.
Right.
But the
so
point
now
but
it's
what-
got to be restriped.
but
So
what-
we have to pay to restripe to
Right,
finish the job.
right.
Yeah.
There's got to be a contract or a direction from somebody.
But we
now,
have
Katie
the vendor
says,
for that.
Correct.
It's not like we have to go find it. Yeah.
So Miola's
But
saying,
they're
Miola's
not going to
saying,
do it on their own. It's going to take a
Of
phone
course,
caller.
we-
Yes,
someone
okay.
has to- of course,
That was
that's
my
how it
point.
works, yeah,
And
yeah.
if the mayor doesn't direct them, it's not going to change.
I feel like there's no way they're going to put lines on that road without the mayor telling them to do
that's
it.
my point. But because he, especially.
Well, you made 2 points. One was that they could do it on their own. They should do it on their own, is what you said.
Well, what I'm
because they
getting
can't
at
leave it
is
unlined.
This now was the mayor's trial.
Yeah.
So they are absolutely waiting for the mayor to
say-
extend or not extend
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
But the question of does the Code of Ordinances say 3 lanes? It does not.
I think Frank Miola's what I got out of Frank is that he feels like there may still be a chance to get this to go to 3 lanes.
Maybe that's what they're
And
doing.
it looks like that Frank's going to do his.
So
and
they
you
want
know,
to they want to keep this
he's gonna work
controversy
his-
going through the rest of the election season.
Okay.
You know,
do you think that's good for them, though?
I'm not here talking about what I'd be doing for public safety, what I'd be doing for budgeting. I'm not here talking about what I would be doing with the different parks maintenance things that I feel like have not been addressed over the years. You know, I'm not here talking about that right now, and it's a mayoral race. So
Yeah.
wouldn't it
So-
be nice if this just kept going for another 5 months?
Can we? Let's. I want to.
Sorry, I'm being a little facetious, but I don't appreciate how in Utica politics we're always concentrating on things that are not taking care of the underbody, like on a car of Utica. There's so many things we could be addressing, so many things we could be applying funds to, so many things I could be discussing right now about what it would look like if we had a different mayor, which we will have one, and that was me in that office in January. We have a
Okay.
mayoral race going on. We have a
If
council
you were
race going
mayor,
on.
you would step up and say, chances are if you were mayor, this wouldn't have happened until after the hospital anyway.
Chances are I'd be leading
You'd
for
be
the
leading.
council.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Not
just
just
say, though-
saying, hey, who's doing this?
Well, he can't lead until after the gala. That's what I was told.
Well, first of all, the gala was great, by the way. I wanted to actually say some comments about that. It was well attended.
Yeah.
They had over 600 tickets sold previous to
awesome.
the event. I was hanging out with the mayor for the duration of the evening. He had a great time. A lot of people came out. There was tons of tickets sold at the door. The Mayor's Gala 2023, Rob Palmieri and his wife, they raised a ton of money for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Great
Saturday was a
organization,
great
yeah.
evening.
All right.
A lot of great live acts, unbelievable food. The hotel looked phenomenal, which I have to say.
Did
right?
you play?
I didn't play. I
Okay.
didn't play. I just
All
hung
right.
out. Everyone, that hotel, everyone still calls it the Radisson. Some people call it the Sheraton, right?
Yeah.
What they did, when you're in that hotel lobby, you feel like you're in Manhattan. It's a
Yeah, it's
modern
really nice.
hotel.
Yep.
Great hotel.
Okay, anything further? We're good?
Yeah, if I could, I'm
Tomato
sorry.
pie
I don't mean
day.
to.
Oh,
to
you
We
got
got
belabor
more,
this.
Arc
Jeff.
Gala coming up. Yeah.
This is from Katie Aiello. She says 2016, yada yada yada. It's not up to the mayor, it's up to the public safety commissioner, which in this case
He's the
actually
mayor.
is the
He
mayor.
is the mayor.
Right.
Can we
She says
seriously just say that out loud 100 more times?
The code
mayor
of
is the public
ordinance
safety.
does not say 4 lanes, is what she is saying, and she sent me a piece of the a copy of the legislation here, or the ordinance.
The code of, but
Sounds like this is in limbo. I have.
I do. I think
if you
so.
go to,
Tom-
I think it's Section B of the council powers, the council does actually direct all changes by ordinance of the roads. And if those roads were 4 lanes since the 30s, the council would have to direct those changes, which is why Katie sponsored all her ordinances in the first place.
I have 2 comments.
to
This-
change it.
Oh, can I just one more? I'm
Yes.
sorry, Bill.
Yes.
I know. But Mike, this was kind of almost, you were saying this almost kind of like as a complaint, like you guys want to focus on this stuff and it takes me off the things that I want to focus on as mayor. So I promise you, before the end of the week, no, I want to give you a chunk of time to highlight some of these things. 'Cause I know you're focused on them and they're important to you. But I will say this: I think this is not overly popular, and I think if the Democrats are tied to this, it's a good thing for you.
Well, I don't know. DeBrango voted
No.
against it.
I don't like to see the community divided over issues like this instead of coming together to discuss it.
The adjuster says if you would just wait till St. Patrick's Day, there will be a line painted down the street.
Yes.
And then finally, Tom is asking, let's get to the real issues at hand. If elected mayor, will you ban all future drag shows in Utica?
No, I won't. Actually,
Okay.
so.
All right. I'm just saying. You're on
Sorry
record.
if I'm losing some votes on that, but I'm not banning drag
You're on
shows.
record. And will you ban?
at Chicago Pneumatic or at the Uptown Theater?
Will you ban Bud? I think RCIL is coming up with has a big drag
Would
show
you catch
coming
the
up.
Chicago Pneumatic one, the Wednesday night drag races? Everyone used to participate.
I didn't get that, but I
yeah.
get it.
Yes, I
That
do
was
remember those.
Much funnier than I thought it was. Thank
That
you
was
for that.
good.
And then will you ban Bud Light?
No, I'm not going to ban a free market
Okay.
beer. If you
All
don't
right.
want it, don't buy
Okay.
it.
All right. This is from Fort Wayne, who asked for this song. It's the last time I'm ever going to play it because I'm kind of sick of it, but I'll play it for Wayne. It's our Complete Street song, and it tells the whole story of how this whole thing came to be. Here we go. While driving in my CX-9 by the Stanley on Genesee, a guy in the bike lane with a shopping cart pushing scrap metal right by me. The guy looked rough, but he was moving fast as he kept on tuning his horn. A Chicago market shopping cart dated 1984. Beep, 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 beep. His horn went beep, beep, beep. I pushed my foot down to the floor. Johnny Rocket in my wake. The complete street reduced to a single lane, and now I was forced to brake. He pushed that yellow cart past me as he kept up his horn play. I'll show
Complete Street mess gives me the right of way. Beep, 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 beep. His horn went beep, beep, beep. My car went into passing gear like Ricky Z said it would. Now this race is just not fair, his downfall understood. But when I peeked in the rearview mirror, I could not believe my eyes. The grocery cart was right behind, I'm gasping with surprise. Beep, 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 his horn went beep, beep, beep. Now we're doing about 55, I made a second lane. The shopping cart going right past me is messing with my brain. This guy must have been about 75, sucking on a bottle of gin. I'll show him that these complete streets are not for guys like him. Beep, 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 his horn went beep, beep, beep. Now we're doing about 95, his car began to smoke. He still pulled right up next to me as if we're going slow. I rolled down the window and he yelled at me just so I could hear. Hey Keeler, I'm just wondering, can you spare a beer? Can you spare a beer?
It's the biggest savings of the year for your pool and spa chemicals. It's Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale. We make it easy. Go to tuckerbackyard.com or stop by our new location and save 15%. Yes, the new location is open at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. Our new and much larger facility gives us the ability to serve you better. Come visit us now till the end of April during our annual chemical sale with 15% off all chemicals in stock. Or shop us online at tuckerbackyard.com. Considering a new pool from above ground to in-ground and fiberglass pools. Come see our pools and spas on full display at our new location, 8086 Seneca Turnpike, Clinton, 1 mile west of the Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com. And save the date for Saturday, May 6th for our grand opening from noon to 3 p.m. featuring free food, big prize giveaways, games, tours, and our factory reps on hand to answer any questions. It's the biggest savings of the year. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. We bring the fun to your backyard.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at adirondackbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Adam and Grace finally made it to retirement. They decided this was their time. They drove in from Herkimer to Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster. They wanted to see the number bed they'd heard so much about. Adam had a bad back. He liked his side firm. We elevated his head, his feet, put the massage on medium. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Grace liked her side softer. She was a 24. She had her head elevated slightly less, her feet a little higher, and the massage on high. They were thrilled to find out it had a 25-year industry-leading warranty. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, so they didn't have to wait for their tax return. For their luxury reward, they chose a 65-inch flat-screen TV. They laid on the Purple and the Puffy, the big online brands while they were there, but the number bed was for them. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com or visit any store.
Hello, I'm Mary Bogdan, Chief Executive Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care. A patient's wife recently shared her thoughts about their experience with hospice and palliative care. Recently, my husband and I embarked on the journey of life that comes to us all. Our involvement with hospice is what made all the difference. Everyone who touched our lives during those 7 weeks helped us more than you know. His nurses, the spiritual care coordinator, the on-call nurse, who came to our door at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the people on the phone who offered compassion and just listened. The entire staff will always be in our grateful thoughts and prayers. The work hospice does is extraordinary and will never be forgotten by our family. We thank you with a grateful heart.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County.
Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
Hey, with tax day last week, you might be wondering how to get more for your refund next year. Well, under the new Inflation Reduction Act, you can get back money on making energy improvements to your home, like new windows. And the experts at New York Sash have all the information you need to take advantage. With the new energy rebates for 2023, you can get a tax credit of 30% of the cost of new windows, up to $600. But even better than that, for a limited time, New York Sash will match your window tax credit. Install brand new energy-efficient New York Sash brand windows in your home, like we are at our home, and get a credit on your taxes. And New York Sash's plan is they'll match it for you to make it even better. Contact New York Sash today to find out how you can get up to $1,200 off your window project. Restrictions may apply. Contact New York Sash today for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And I should say portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and other physicians under one roof accepting new patients right now. If you need a new family practitioner, call the Falcon Clinic today, the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, at 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
All right, what do you make of this whole,
as
Lance called it, the bucket, but it was a typo. I think he meant debacle.
Well, I think that what I had said earlier, where Lanigan was saying, yeah, even look at what the city, we should do it the way, I didn't say it quite this way, but the way the city of Utica does it. And I would warn that I wouldn't make too many comparisons to the city of Utica. We got to do it the way Utica does it.
I understand what you're saying.
I'd stay clear of that. That's
So,
just my take.
Again, we had some back and forth on this, but is it your understanding that what happens, like if you're listening to the radio right now, driving down Genesee Street, is it supposed to be 3 lanes or is it supposed to be 4 lanes? Because it was kind of suggested, I feel like this morning, that no, it's 4 lanes now. Now that was defeated, now it's 4 lanes. So should people take it into their own hands and drive 4 lanes?
I think you're going to do what you want to do.
Well, that doesn't sound like a
I
great
think most
thing
people,
from a public safety standpoint.
I think most people will go back to 4 lanes in their heads just because they're used to that. And, oh, by the way, you're coming from 4 lanes, no matter whether you're traveling south or, I guess, whether you're traveling east or west, north or south, in the case of Genesee Street right there, in terms of real direction. But, yeah, I think it'll be 4 because it's 4 before it and it's 4 after it. So you'll just assume it's 4 lanes.
Well, and after it, though, is the bridge to North Genesee Street. You're either coming off the bridge to North Jenny or going on it, which I think is only 1 lane in each direction. Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens here. But
Yeah.
I don't think that the striping company, by the way, Lance says, good luck getting a painting company to paint this. I'm sure they're contracted for most of the summer already, right? That's why I meant that it requires some action because the paint company's not going to go, hey, they voted it down. I'm just going to do this and send them a bill.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Listen, we'll at some point continue this conversation. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. News straight ahead. Have a wonderful day. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 9 o'clock.
4 more years. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden may announce as soon as tomorrow he's running for re-election, even though 70% of those surveyed by NBC News don't want him to, including half of Democrats. But Congresswoman Debbie Dingell tells Fox News Sunday.
People think Joe Biden understands their challenges. They think that he's someone that cares.
In that same poll, 6 in 10 don't want former President Trump to run again, but he remains the GOP frontrunner with 46% support among Republicans. Asa Hutchinson's far behind at 3%.
I'm running because I think that we need alternatives and we need new leadership, a new